Chapter 946. Crushing Treasure Dragon. He Xiaojian's strength is indeed astonishing. Even though he just entered late-stage Martial King, his current strength is comparable to peak-stage Martial Kings. Seeing He Xiaojian's condensed power, many old disciples below the stage are somewhat envious. He Xiaojian's power should be 5 dragon power. Late-stage Martial Kings only have 4 dragon power. If he truly has 5 dragon power, very few late-stage Martial Kings would be able to defeat him. Not to mention a middle Martial King realm. Star Traveling Pagoda's guy should only be mid-stage Martial King. A mid-stage Martial King only has the power of 3 dragons at most. In terms of strength, it is a lot weaker. Everyone saw He Xiaojian's terrifying aura and exclaimed in admiration again and again. Qinyan did not test how many dragon power he has, but it is more than enough to defeat He Xiaojian. Little trash from Star Traveling Pagoda. Why are you not properly staying in your broken pagoda to take care of those old guys? Instead, you came here to be arrogant? He Xiaojian said in fierce voice. You actually want to take revenge on me? I will crush you to death right now. He Xiaojian rushed over. Boom, boom, boom. He Xiaojian's speed is not fast. It is even somewhat slow. But every time he takes a step, it creates a great earth-shaking sound. Just his imposing manner is enough to scare many people. With this kind of speed, you still have the nerve to be arrogant? Qinyan said with sneer, Precious Dragon Pagoda's people are all this kind of trash. Disgraceful. You weak little guy. You dare to mock our precious Dragon Pagoda? He Xiaojian furiously roared. He suddenly increased his speed, brandished his huge club-like arm, and smashed it down towards Qinyan's head. Qinyan is expressionless. He quickly waved his palm and transformed it into a palm blade. The condensed Xiandao power is like a sharp blade and attacked He Xiaojian's arm. Compared to He Xiaojian's thick and solid arm, his palm blade became very small. However, the palm blade is incomparably sharp. The formless energy it released was condensed by Qinyan and became as sharp as a blade. Qinyan's palm blade hacked towards He Xiaojian's arm. Puchi. He Xiaojian's arm is like a piece of wood. It has been chopped off by Qinyan's palm blade. Because the thick arm had tensed up in condensed strength. The moment it was chopped off, pus and blood spurted out like a fountain, spraying everywhere on the battling platform. Everyone was so shocked that their hearts almost stopped beating when they saw the blood spilling out. The powerful He Xiaojian's arm was actually chopped off by someone. Even He Xiaojian suspected that his arm might be a fake, for it was actually severed by the other party's palm. He Xiaojian was so shocked that he forgot about his pain. He stared at the bleeding arm in astonishment. Precious Dragon Pagoda's disciples are all trash. Qinyan's ice-cold voice, filled with killing intent, fell down like thunder. He struck out with his palm blade again, this time at an incredible speed. This time, his palm blade was aimed at He Xiaojian's neck. He Xiaojian didn't even have time to scream before a bloody line appeared on his neck. Then his head fell off, and his corpse fell onto a pool of blood. The head that tumbled to the ground was filled with fear. Its ferocious eyes were filled with disbelief and unwillingness. He Xiaojian was dead. Moreover, he had died in such an inconceivable manner. He had been killed by his opponent in 2 moves. Boom! Qinyan jumped up and pressed down a purple gold flame palm towards the battle stage, which is filled with blood. Hoo! The huge flame palm descended and gave rise to a burst of flame that enveloped the entire battle stage. Under the cover of the sea of flame, Qinyan quickly extracted He Xiaojian's Dao, core, and martial spirit. The martial spirit he extracted is a black dragon martial spirit. It has divine ability power. Under Ling Yun'er's control, Nether Sun devoured the divine ability power, and Qinyan can use it. It is a summoning divine ability. It can summon a poisonous dragon. Ling Yun'er said. The sea of flame disappeared very quickly. Only white ashes remained on the battle stage. They are He Xiaojian's ashes. This kind of result is very hard for everyone to accept. Star Traveling Pagoda's new disciple is actually this dreadful. He easily killed a late-stage Martial King like He Xiaojian. Hong Mengshu and the others are not surprised at all. If Qinyan lost, they would find it strange. They only feel that Qin Yun's strength is even more dreadful than they imagined. Qin Yun looked at a middle-aged martial emperor from Precious Dragon Pagoda below the battle stage and said in deep voice, "Precious Dragon Pagoda's trash. If you have the guts, send more people to challenge me. Don't cower like a turtle." That middle-aged martial emperor's face is filled with anger as he yelled, "Star Traveling Pagoda's little demon, don't be arrogant. You dared to kill our Precious Dragon Pagoda's disciple. You will have to suffer miserable consequences." After the barrier around Qin Yun's battle stage was removed, the old judge also went up to the stage. He is worried that Precious Dragon Pagoda's martial emperors will attack. Qin Yun laughed loudly and said, "Precious Dragon Pagoda's trash. You want to deprive Old Lon of his star totem. Did you not think that you will have to suffer miserable consequences? Let me tell you, your consequences are just beginning." He finished speaking and walked down from the stage. Leaving the stage while defending is equivalent to abandoning the stage and losing a Regent Origin Stone. Qin Yun doesn't care about losing a Regent Origin Stone. Everyone thought that Qin Yun is scared and wants to leave the 100 Refining Plaza. Who would have thought that he would actually rush towards the first stage? The first stage's defender is a young man. He is also very savage. There are several broken arms on his stage, as well as a large piece of minced meat. He actually abandoned his own stage to challenge the Precious Dragon Pagoda's disciple on the first stage. Now everyone can see that Qin Yun is doing this for revenge. Everyone saw that Lan Shun was beaten miserably before because Precious Dragon Pagoda wanted to take away Lan Shen's star totem. And now Star Traveling Pagoda's people have come to take revenge. But the person who came to take revenge is only a new disciple, yet his strength is so dreadful. Qin Yun handed over 1 million purple crystal coins to the old judge of the first stage and then went up to the first stage. Many people immediately surrounded him. When Qin Yun went up to the third stage, everyone was looking forward to seeing how he will be beaten miserably. And now everyone is looking forward to seeing how he will be beaten miserably. Qin Yun walked up to the stage and looked at the young man. His voice is filled with disdain. "Precious Dragon Pagoda's trash. If you admit that you are trash, then scram down from the stage. I don't feel like attacking you." That young man is also very strong. Moreover, he is very arrogant and savage. Hearing Qin Yun's words, he immediately became very angry and roared, "I am not like that trashy Xiajian. You cannot defeat me." A middle-aged martial emperor from Precious Dragon Pagoda yelled. Xiajian underestimated his opponent too much. That is why he lost miserably. Just pay attention to defend against his handblade. This guy from Star Traveling Pagoda should have saber martial spirit. The words of the middle-aged martial emperor caused the young man from Precious Dragon Pagoda to be filled with confidence. The first stage's judge is filled with amazement and expectation as he struck the gong. Battle begin. Precious Dragon Pagoda's young man is very cautious. He is already prepared to defend from the very beginning. Roar! A small golden dragon suddenly leaped out of that young man's body and coiled around his body, forming a formidable barrier. As soon as the barrier appeared, the battle stage slightly trembled. It could be seen how strong the barrier is. Qin Yun coldly groaned and flew over. When he went over, he used Mysterious Penetration Divine Art and Suffering Divine Art to shoot out the power of Suffering Divine Art and penetrate that powerful barrier. Precious Dragon Pagoda's young man screamed miserably. He felt incomparable pain all over his body. The powerful barrier that he released also dissipated in an instant. Qin Yun rushed over and ruthlessly slapped that young man's face. The sound of the slap was like a thunderclap. Precious Dragon Pagoda's young man's face became deformed in a flash. He cannot even shout. "Who told you to bully my Star Traveling Pagoda's disciple? This is the price you will have to pay." Qin Yun's deep and cold voice is filled with anger and killing intent. Both of his fists ferociously punched. They're like two ferocious beasts that continuously landed on that young man's body. The power of each of his punches is like the full strength attack of a ferocious beast. After dozens of punches, that young man's body has been badly mutilated. "Go to hell." Qin Yun's last punch flickered with purple gold flame, transformed into a ferocious flame beast, and pierced through that young man's body. The frantic flame entered that young man's body and burned his formidable bones to ashes in a flash. Qin Yun's flame is only purple gold. If it were black flame, it would be the most dreadful. Another precious dragon pagoda disciple has died. 2 new disciples of precious dragon pagoda have died. It must be known that precious dragon pagoda's new golden disciples are very outstanding. Nobody dared to challenge their battle stage. It can be seen that they are very strong. After everyone recovered from their shock, they sighed endlessly. It must be known that precious dragon pagoda's new golden disciples have killed many disciples. Moreover, their methods are very sinister. They did not expect that not long after, they would also be killed by someone else. Ayaya, precious dragon pagoda is ranked 20th. Star Traveling Pagoda is not even ranked, and now Precious Dragon Pagoda is being trampled underfoot by Star Traveling Pagoda. Star Traveling Pagoda is very lucky. Such an outstanding genius has actually arrived. That guy's power is very strong. I wonder how many dragon power he has. Late-stage Martial King He Xiaojian was easily beaten by him. Could it be that he is a peak-stage Martial King? Strange, I can't see through his cultivation. His aura concealing skill is also very brilliant. Quickly look, isn't that First Pagoda's Luo Yonghui? He is a very strong new disciple. I heard that he broke through to late-stage Martial King as soon as he entered First Pagoda. He is walking towards first stage. What is he trying to do? Everyone cried out in alarm and looked at the youth wearing golden embroidered clothes. His face is filled with arrogance. Kong Feiqing said in low voice, "That guy, during the assessment, with mid-stage Martial King cultivation, he obtained 4 dragon power. He has not fought on the stage. Could it be that he is waiting for a good opponent?" Hong Mengshu said, "No need to worry about Brother Yun." Gong Fian's beautiful eyes are filled with worry as she said, "I am still somewhat worried. After all, he is First Pagoda's disciple. Moreover, if he wants to challenge a Yun, he must have some confidence." Luo Yanghui's expression is filled with innate arrogance. A faint smile hung on the corner of his mouth. He took out his purple crystal card and paid 1,000,000 purple crystal coins to the old judge. Chapter 9:47. Pagoda Beast Contract. Qin Yun is standing on the battle stage. From everyone's discussion, he found out that Luo Yonghui is a disciple of First Pagoda. Qin Xiaoyun, right? A new disciple from Star Traveling Pagoda. Very good. As everyone knows, Star Traveling Pagoda used to be the first pagoda, but later it was crushed by our vast Yang Pagoda and has never been able to rise again. Luo Yonghui slowly walked on the battle stage and spoke with faint smile. His voice is filled with disdain. Everyone repeatedly nodded their heads. Star Traveling Pagoda used to have a glorious past, but that is all in the past. Now Star Traveling Pagoda has no hope of rising again. Luo Yonghui looked at Qin Yun and laughed disdainfully. Now, Star Traveling Pagoda has a very outstanding disciple. It seems like they're showing signs of rising again. However, with our first pagoda here, Star Traveling Pagoda will never have a chance to rise again. Today, I, who came from First Pagoda, will suppress this arrogant disciple of Star Traveling Pagoda. I will let everyone in 100 Pagoda sect know that our first pagoda will always be the first pagoda. Star Traveling Pagoda will forever live in fear of our first pagoda. Disciples of our First Pagoda Alliance, please cheer for us. Because First Pagoda is an overlord existence. Other pagoda all respect them very much. Following Luo Yanghui's proud words, everyone loudly shouted one after another. First Pagoda, victory is assured. Everyone's enthusiasm immediately soared. Their roars shook the heaven, seemingly enveloping the heaven and earth. On the battle stage, Luo Yonghui is even more proud of himself. His face is brimming with arrogant smile. His eyes are filled with pity and disdain as he looked at Qin Yun and said again, "Star Traveling Pagoda people, no matter how you struggle, you will never be able to defeat our first pagoda." Qin Yin saw that Luo Lianghui has been acting for so long and slowly said, "Whether or not my star-traveling pagoda can rise again is not up to your first pagoda to decide. Moreover, the decline of first pagoda will start with you." Ha ha ha. Ridiculous. In the entire star-traveling pagoda, only you have some ability, but you are still young. There are many variables in the future, and you actually think that you can soar to the heavens. Truly arrogant guy. Luo Yonghui laughed loudly and mocked. Many people below also roared with laughter. You're just a frog in a well. You think that just because you defeated the other two frogs, you can strut around and rise up? You really overestimate yourself. You want to contend against our first pagoda? Luo Yonghui said with sneer. I will give you a chance. As long as you admit that first pagoda is the strongest, I will spare your hands and feet. I don't believe your first pagoda is nonsense. Your first pagoda's chief disciple Yi Yaoxue clearly promised someone that she would get married if she lost, but she broke her promise. What credibility does your first pagoda have? Qin Yun laughed loudly and said, Impudent. Luo Lianghui shouted angrily. A large group of people below cursed Qin Yun angrily. It seems like speaking ill of Yi Yaoxue and 100 Pagoda sect will incite public anger. However, Qin Yun was not afraid at all. He said with a sneer, Why? Am I wrong? Luo Lianghui angrily said, That bastard is not worthy of our senior sister Yi. Qin Yun said with a smile, So what? If Yi Yaoxue lied, she lied. And you guys think that Yi Yaoxue did not do anything wrong. It means that you bastards are not trustworthy. You are all swindlers who don't keep their words. Bastard, you dare insult senior sister Yi and us like this. I will kill you. Luo Lianghui furiously said. Yo, seeing how you're shielding Yi Yaoxue, did she give you any benefits? How about this? I will cripple you and see if Yi Yaoxue cares about you or not. Qin Yin chuckled and said, She won't. Yi Yaoxue won't even remember trash like you. I will kill you. Luo Lianghui looked at the old judge and roared, Quickly start the competition. Not only Luo Lianghui is extremely furious, a group of people below also became extremely furious. They began shouting one after another, wanting Luo Lianghui to kill Qin Yun. After the gong sounded, Luo Lianghui rushed towards Qin Yun like a wild horse. You stupid bird who is infatuated with Yi Yaoxue. I will beat you awake today. Qin Yun loudly shouted and released super gravity to suppress Luo Lianghui. It must be known that Qin Yun is a late-stage martial king. Moreover, he has immortal devil body. His nether sun power is very valiant. Even a peak martial king would find it hard to contend against it. After the super gravity pressed down, Luo Lianghui, who was rushing over at lightning speed, was smashed down on the ground in front of Qin Yun. He looks like a turtle lying on the ground. Luo Lianghui, who was in high spirits and incomparably arrogant just a moment ago, has been smashed down on the ground in a blink of an eye. First pagoda is nothing. Qin Yun heavily pressed down his palm on Luo Lianghui. Oh! Luo Lianghui immediately screamed miserably. 100 Refining Plaza has become incomparably quiet because of Qin Yun's strange power, causing Luo Lianghui's scream to be very clear and melodious. Are you the most outstanding new disciple of First Pagoda? Since you want to destroy our star-traveling pagoda's new disciple, I will also destroy you. Qin Yun spoke and again sent down palm attack. Luo Lianghui's body shook and burst out with a burst of gale. This is the phenomenon of Tao, core, shattering, and energy overflowing. Star-traveling pagoda's bastards. A martial emperor below furiously roared. He is a martial emperor from First Pagoda. You are the bastards. I have no enmity with you, but you sent your disciples to trample on me. Haven't you suppressed star-traveling pagoda long enough? Qin Yun vigorously kicked the half-dead Luo Lianghui. Luo Lianghui is like a dead dog. He was kicked and knocked against the barrier. Now everyone can see that Qin Yun's strength is not something a late-stage martial king can suppress. Only a peak-stage martial king or even a martial emperor can suppress him. Invincible within the same level. This is the symbol of a super genius. For example, Xia Wufeng and Yi Yaoxue. Both of them are super geniuses. They can even fight above their level. Qin Yun said in cold voice, I am a late-stage martial king. If you are not afraid of death, then quickly come. Luo Yanghui has been crippled. He has lost his ability to fight. The barrier has been removed. If First Pagoda dares to cause trouble for our star-traveling pagoda again, I will make them send people like this dead dog. Qin Yun kicked Luo Yanghui and sent him flying. This kind of thing happened during the new disciple competition in the 100 Refining Plaza. It alarmed some higher-ups, especially Precious Dragon Pagoda. They are the most furious because they managed to recruit 2 very good disciples, and now they have been killed on the stage. Moreover, the person who killed them is from Star Traveling Pagoda. No matter what pagoda it is, they cannot accept this kind of result, because Star Traveling Pagoda is the worst pagoda. To have his dignity trampled on by the worst pagoda, this was a great humiliation. Precious Dragon Pagoda's people also found out that this formidable person is indeed a new disciple. Moreover, he has been registered as Star Traveling Pagoda's chief disciple. Naturally, no one knows that Qin Yun is the pagoda master because there is no need to register. Qin Yun is standing on the stage, looking at those first pagoda disciples jumping up and down. He cannot help but reveal a happy smile. First Pagoda's disciples also don't dare to act recklessly. After all, they cannot break the rules. If they act recklessly and anger Star Traveling Pagoda's Granny Star, then she will fight against First Pagoda without any regard for her life. Then First Pagoda might truly decline. Precious Dragon Pagoda's half-immortal has arrived. 1 half-immortal and a group of martial emperors. What are they doing here? What can they do even if they come? Half-immortals and martial emperors can't do anything. Do they want to be smashed to death by Star Traveling Pagoda's old granny stars? 2 of their new disciples died, so they have to come and scold them a little to scare them. A group of people are rejoicing in other people's misfortune and very happily watching. What caused people to be shocked is that there's a very serious peak martial emperor among those martial emperors. That is, Precious Dragon Pagoda's chief disciple. They sent their chief disciple to curse people. It seems like Precious Dragon Pagoda is truly angry. Majority of the chief disciples of many pagoda are peak martial emperors. Only First Pagoda's Yaoxue is mid-stage martial emperor, but she can fight against majority of martial emperors. An old half-immortal from Precious Dragon Pagoda said in cold voice, The person on the stage is a Qin Shaoyin. You are Star Traveling Pagoda's chief disciple, right? Do you dare to accept our Precious Dragon Pagoda's chief disciple's challenge? Everyone is amazed that Qin Yun is the chief disciple. They also find it very funny. Qin Yun laughed loudly and said, I am late-stage martial king, and your chief disciple is a peak martial emperor. You still have the nerve to challenge me? Chief disciples can challenge each other at will. So long as they accept the challenge, they can compete. Precious Dragon Pagoda's half-immortal said in cold voice, How about this? We will only compete for 10 moves. On the battle stage, each person can only attack for 10 moves. After 10 moves, they cannot attack. If both sides attack for 10 moves and you are still standing, it will be our Precious Dragon Pagoda's loss. What benefit will I get if I win? If there is no benefit, why should I take the risk to fight your chief disciple? Qin Yun said with sneer, It can be said that you don't have any risk at all, and I will have to bear the danger of losing my life. Qin Yun is not stupid. He can see through the other party's thoughts with one look. If you win, it means that you have defeated our Precious Dragon Pagoda's chief disciple. This means that your Star Traveling Pagoda can hold your head high. Don't tell me this is not a benefit. That half-immortal said, I killed your 2 new disciples and crippled First Pagoda's idiot. There is no need for me to defeat your chief disciple. Now the one losing face is you, not our Star Traveling Pagoda. Qin Yun's voice is filled with ridicule. Precious Dragon Pagoda's disciples are very angry, but there is nothing they can do. If you win, our Precious Dragon Pagoda's resources for next 5 years will be given to your Star Traveling Pagoda. That half-immortal thought about it and said, You're just saying it verbally. Why should I believe you? Qin Yun looked at First Pagoda's martial emperor and said with sneer, even Yao Xue is acting lazily, let alone you precious Dragon Pagoda bastards who commit all kinds of evil. You will die miserably. Precious Dragon Pagoda's people furiously said. First Pagoda's disciples have been infuriated by Qin Yun again and started cursing one after another. Precious Dragon Pagoda's half-immortal took out a talisman and said, this is the Pagoda Beast Contract Talisman. If I go back on my words, our precious Dragon Pagoda's Pagoda Beast will belong to your star, traveling Pagoda. Come, we will sign the contract with this Pagoda Beast Contract Talisman. Wah! Everyone burst into commotion. They did not expect precious Dragon Pagoda to be serious. Chapter 948. 10 Moves. The process of nurturing Pagoda Beast is very difficult. It requires a lot of time and resources. An formidable Pagoda Beast can make the entire pagoda display even more formidable power during competition. Qin Yun also heard about Pagoda Beasts. For example, during ranking competition, Pagoda Beasts also have to fight. Their star-traveling pagoda used to have Pagoda Beasts, but they declined and could no longer raise them, so they released them. A Pagoda Beast is even stronger than the Pagoda Master because they are nurtured with great amount of resources. All right, Qin Yun feels that even if he cannot win, he will not be crippled. After precious Dragon Pagoda's half-immortal heard this, he promptly took out a very large Pagoda Beast Contract Talisman and signed a complicated contract with Qin Yun. So long as Qin Yun can withstand 10 moves, he can win. Although precious Dragon Pagoda's chief disciple is a peak martial emperor, many people do not dare to guarantee that he can defeat Qin Yun within 10 moves. Qin Yun is standing on the battle stage, looking at the middle-aged man with cold expression. Precious Dragon Pagoda's chief disciple is called Yi Penghong. He is a tall and sturdy middle-aged man. He looks very calm and does not speak much. Moreover, from his expression, he does not have the slightest intention of underestimating his opponent. He is very cautious. Yi Penghong earnestly sized up Qin Yun and observed his aura. This caused Qin Yun to suddenly feel some pressure. He thought that all Pagoda's chief disciples are pompous and arrogant because Yi Yaoxue was exactly like that before. But Yi Penghong is not like that. Qin Yun is somewhat afraid of this kind of people. You can begin. Yi Penghong nodded and said. After the battle stage's barrier opened, the judge sounded the gong. Yi Penghong is the first to attack. Qin Yun's cultivation is very low. He does not have any intention to attack. So from the very beginning, he has been defending. He released Body Protecting Dragon Handle through Heavenly Dragon Art. Precious Dragon Pagoda and Dragon Sect have some relationship, so Precious Dragon Pagoda's martial arts path is somewhat similar to Dragon Sect's. After Qin Yun released Body Protecting Dragon Handle, Yi Penghong's fist also arrived with Valiant Aura. Yi Penghong's fist flickered with red light. It looks like red energy flame is gushing out. The energy burst out caused the entire battle stage to violently tremble. Boom! Yi Penghong's fist struck Qin Yun's head and landed on the translucent golden barrier. The body-protecting dragon handle released by Qin Yun possesses very strong defensive power. It blocked the formidable power gathered by Yi Penghong's fist. However, his dragon's repulse was also shattered, and a golden storm was set off. Qin Yun was also sent flying and slammed into the barrier. Yi Penghong was also forced to take 3 steps back by the power of the body-protecting dragon's handle. His fist was also slightly red and felt a slight numbing pain. Although Qin Yun was sent flying, he received Yi Penghong's terrifying punch head-on. Although many martial kings and martial emperors know that Qin Yun is not weak, they are still astonished. The senior disciples here knew Yi Penghong very well. They knew how strong he was. After all, his pagoda was ranked 20th. Yi Penghong was astonished. With a deep roar, he charged at Qin Yun and punched again. This time, his fist flashed with a red light that was as dazzling as lightning. What caused people to be astonished is that his fist energy transformed into a red lightning dragon. Just this dragon head covered more than half of the battle stage. Qin Yun's side of the battle stage was covered by the formidable dragon head in the blink of an eye. Roar! The furious dragon's roar shook heaven and earth, shaking all around. It gave people the feeling that the barrier is about to break. The battle stage was also enveloped by the tyrannical red lightning. After the red lightning dissipated, Qin Yun is still standing there, but his clothes are extremely tattered. He received the second attack. Yi Penghong is even more astonished. Qin Yun, a late-stage martial king, can actually receive 2 of his attacks. Yi Penghong is very clear that this is not because he is weak. Rather, it is because his opponent is a late-stage martial king who possesses a mysterious and formidable power. It was not easy for Qin Yun to receive that punch. 8 more, Kong Feiqing said in low voice. Xiao Yun, you must hold on. Precious Dragon Pagoda's half-immortal's expression gradually became grave. He expected that Yi Penghong would be able to knock Qin Yun down within 3 moves. But now, Qin Yun is still standing. Penghong, go all out. Precious Dragon Pagoda's half-immortal yelled. If they lose, they will lose 5 years' worth of resources. And he will be blamed by many people and Pagoda Master. Yi Penghong also knows that the consequences of losing are very grave. He loudly roared and attacked Qin Yun again. Qin Yun is still not knocked down by the 3rd move. Only his appearance is somewhat miserable. Soon after, Yi Penghong seems to have gone mad. He attacked 4th move, 5th move, 8th move, 9th move. After the 9th move, Qin Yun's body has been burnt black by the impact of the tyrannical power. His hair is in a mess. The black cloth covering his face has been torn off. His face is filled with blood and injuries. His appearance is very scary. However, Qin Yun has not completely fallen down. He can still stand up. Yi Penghong's forehead is filled with sweat. Precious Dragon Pagoda's people are also very nervous and in some despair. Because there is only 1 move left, if Yi Penghong cannot completely defeat Qin Yun, Precious Dragon Pagoda will lose 5 years' worth of resources. Now Qin Yun knows that the disparity between him and peak martial emperors is very big. If he doesn't use any equipment and directly fights against this kind of genius peak martial emperor, he will undoubtedly lose. Yi Yaoshua's strength is above Yi Penghong's. She must be even more dreadful. Qin Yun can block so many moves because he is using all of his body's power and immortal devil body to defend. You fall down for me. Red light around Yi Penghong's body leaped up and down like lightning. It can be seen that his martial spirit is a red thunder attribute variant martial spirit, but it is unknown what kind of martial spirit it is. Yi Penghong's body shot out and directly charged towards Qin Yun. This time Yi Penghong is gambling everything. He is using his body and all of his power to attack Qin Yun. Yi Penghong is like a bolt of lightning. He is using all of his strength to attack Qin Yun. Yi Penghong is like a bolt of lightning. He crashed into Qin Yun's body in a split second. Boom! Qin Yun can only feel that his chest bone has been ruthlessly rammed by Yi Penghong's head. A formidable red thunder, along with a dragon roar, entered his heart. Kacha! Qin Yun's chest bone shattered and his heart is being squeezed. The tree totem also released many tree vines at this critical moment and tightly wrapped around his heart. Although his chest bone has been shattered, his heart's vital organs have been wrapped up by tree vines. Even if his heart is being squeezed, his heart will not be damaged. If his heart is shattered, it would take a lot of time to recover. Qin Yun was sent flying and fell on the ground. He painfully rolled on the ground. Qin Yun used a very formidable power to block the attack. So when Yi Penghong rammed into him, he was sent flying by that power. Yi Penghong's head is also bleeding. He slowly crawled up from the ground. His entire body is swaying. Blood is dripping down from his head, making him look very malevolent and scary. This time you won't be able to stand up. Yi Penghong let out a long sigh. His head injury is very shocking. His skull is actually cracked. How can a late-stage martial king's body be so dreadful? Could it be that he has heavenly beast body, possessing the immortal vein inheritance of a formidable heavenly beast? After cultivating a mortal body, one will become very strong. Even so, he lost in the end. That guy is truly dreadful. If his cultivation was mid-stage martial emperor like Yi Yaoxue, maybe he would be as dreadful as her. Impossible. Yi Yaoxue is stronger than him. Qin Yun rolled on the ground a bit. His immortal devil body can heal very quickly. Not long after, he felt a lot better. I didn't lose. Qin Yun slowly crawled up. His chest is caved in. Moreover, it is badly mangled, but he is still able to stand up. Seeing Qin Yun stand up, everyone burst into a burst of shock shouts. Precious Dragon Pagoda lost. If they don't fulfill their promise, Qin Yun will snatch away their pagoda beast. After the barrier opened, Qin Yun flew to the sky and said to Precious Dragon Pagoda's people, starting next year, you must deliver resources to Star Traveling Pagoda every year. If you can break the contract, your pagoda beast will also come to us. Qin Yun took out the Pagoda Beast Contract Talisman. Light blue contract power is flowing on it. Qin Yun's injuries are very serious. He hastily flew towards Star Traveling Pagoda. Luckily, that guy used a wide range of attacks in the beginning. If he had concentrated his power from the beginning, I might have lost. Qin Yun recalled what happened while flying in the sky. If he had concentrated his power from the beginning and not covered a wide range of attacks, you would have been able to dodge, and his concentrated power would have been wasted. Therefore, his first few attacks covered a wide range of attacks, so that he wouldn't have wasted his power. Ling Yuner said, that guy injured you in the beginning, making it hard for you to dodge. Only at the end did he concentrate his power. Just this point alone shows that he has considered everything thoroughly. If Qin Yun did not have a mortal devil body, he would have been completely defeated within 5 moves. After Qin Yun left, everyone in the 100 Refining Plaza exclaimed in admiration and started discussing the chief disciple of Star Traveling Pagoda. Precious Dragon Pagoda lost 5 years of resources. This loss cannot be considered big, but is also not small. Because in the next 5 years, Precious Dragon Pagoda will not have any resources. This will cause their ranking to gradually fall. This matter has also reached the ears of many pagodas higher-ups, especially the chief disciples of each pagoda. They're very concerned about this matter. They want to know the details of this matter as much as possible. Because Yi Penghong is not a weak peak martial emperor, he could not even defeat a late-stage martial king with 10 moves in a row. First pagoda, at the top floor of Star Traveling Pagoda, Yi Yaoxue is standing on the balcony, looking at Star Traveling Pagoda's direction, and said in cold voice, Star Traveling Pagoda's chief disciple is called Qin Xiaoyun, right? Is it possible that this guy is a Yun? Standing behind Yi Yaoxue is a handsome young man. He said, I don't know. His face was covered, even though the cloth covering his face fell. Because his face was seriously injured, we could not see his appearance. Chapter 949. Invitation. A Liang said, Madam Yi, that venerable master, a Yun cannot be Star Traveling Pagoda's Qin Xiao Yun. First, when you and a Yun were in Murong Manor, it was the time of 100 Pagoda sex assessment. Second, Star Traveling Pagoda's Qin Xiao Yun is a new golden disciple. A Yun did not participate in the assessment. How could he become a golden disciple? Yi Yaoxue's long and shapely eyebrows are wrinkled as she said, Go check who participated in Star Traveling Pagoda's assessment. A Liang immediately replied, Madam Yi, this subordinate has checked. One of them is called Lan Chun, and the other is called Qin Xiao Yun. Is this true? Yi Yaoxue asked. It's true. Granny Star personally went to register them. Moreover, she also registered Qin Xiao Yun as chief disciple. A Liang said again, All right, send him an invitation card. Tell him that I am inviting him to a banquet in First Pagoda to befriend Star Traveling Pagoda's chief disciple. Yi Yaoxue's beautiful eyes flickered as she said again, When you go, you must be a bit more polite. You must invite that guy. I will personally appraise him to see whether he is that immoral, venerable master or not. Yes, Madam Yi, this subordinate will do it immediately. A Liang said. Yi Yaoxue is standing on the balcony. Her beautiful jade-like face is filled with anger. Wretched, immoral, venerable master. He disappeared without a trace after the Murong Manor incident. Moreover, he disappeared in my 100 Pagoda sect's territory. I must find him and take revenge. Yi Yaoshue's mood has been very bad these days, because she lost miserably in Murong Manor. Not to mention losing 20 high-quality Regent Origin stones. Even her underwear was snatched away. Not only she lost money, she also lost face. Although many disciples of 100 Pagoda sect are very angry for her, there are also many rumors and slanders. Nighttime, at the top floor of First Pagoda, Yi Yaoshue is sitting on a table beside the balcony. She is looking at Yu Shutian and Hong Mengshu, who are sitting across from her. She has indeed invited Yu Shutian and Hong Mengshu. Yu Shutian and Hong Mengshu are not very stunning women, but they each have their own unique temperament. They can be considered very outstanding and beautiful women. Even Yi Yaoshue secretly praised Yu Shutian and Hong Mengshu in her heart. "Hello, junior sisters." Yi Yaoshue smiled. Her voice is gentle and pleasant to listen to. She said, "Many thanks for honoring me by coming to this gathering. Senior Sister Yi, did you invite us here for a Yun's matter?" Yu Shutian asked. "Yes, I want to meet him and have a good talk with him." Yi Yaoshue smiled and poured tea for Yu Shutian and Hong Mengshu. She is very courteous and courteous. She does not have the arrogance of First Pagoda's chief disciple. Hong Mengshu sighed. "We don't know where he is either. Originally, he agreed to enter 100 Pagoda sect with us. Then he had a conflict with Senior Sister Yi in Murong Manor. He didn't dare to come and gave a spot to Big Sister Kong." Yaoshua lightly groaned and said, "This guy really has no guts. He doesn't even dare to enter 100 Pagoda sect." Yu Shutian placed her hand on Yi Yaoshue's jade-like hand and said with gentle smile, "Senior Sister Yi, what do you want to discuss with a Yun? If I see him, I can pass the message to him." Yi Yaoshua said with helpless expression, "I want him to return my underwear. It is a very precious thing to me. It is very meaningful." Hong Mengshu said with a smile, "Brother Yun is a very greedy fellow. If you want to get the dude back, you have to take out something that can move him. Furthermore, he's a very calculative person. He doesn't really want you to marry him. It's mainly because you promised him, but you went back on your word. So, he will definitely settle this matter with you." Yi Yaoshua bit her lips and cursed in low voice. What exactly is that bastard's background? Could it be that there's no one who can deal with him? He clearly has many outstanding women by his side. Why does he still want to pester me? Yu Shutian covered her mouth and said with smile, "Senior Sister Yi, you misunderstood. Me and Mengshu are not his women. Big Sister Kong and Yin Yin have nothing to do with him. We are just as good friends." Hong Mengshu said, "I know a Yun very well. I have known him for many years. I even know his real wife. I and his wife's little sister are good sisters. He indeed has many awesome women by his side. Some of them are even more awesome than you." Yi Yaoshue is somewhat unconvinced. She curled her lips and said, "More awesome than me? How awesome is that?" Hong Mengshu thought for a bit and said, "Very awesome. His wife is very awesome. Little sisters, please help me. Help me get my underwear back. I'll be very grateful to you." Yi Yaoshue pulled Hong Mengshu and Yu Shutian's lily-white hands and said in a spoiled manner, "Sometimes Yi Yaoshue is arrogant and haughty. Sometimes she is gentle and courteous. Now, in order to take back her things, she is acting like a spoiled child." Hong Mengshu and Yu Shutian glanced at each other. They also feel somewhat helpless. "All right, if we can contact him, we will ask him and see how he plans to conduct the transaction with you." Hong Mengshu said with smile, "Senior Sister Yi, you should be prepared to bleed a lot. Senior Sister Yi, you should not have made that kind of promise. Look, after you lost, you did not fulfill your promise and caused such a big commotion." Yu Shutian faintly sighed. "That guy, a Yun, is not someone to be trifled with." Yi Yaoshue has a very pitiful appearance. She mumbled, "I really did not expect to lose. Who knew that bastard would have that kind of method? Little sisters, you must help me. We can only give it a try," Yu Shutian said with sigh. "It doesn't matter if it succeeds or not. You will have my protection from now on. I guarantee that no one will bully you. Yi Yaoshue sweetly smiled. Can you tell me about that bastard-specific situation? For example, what kind of martial spirit does he have? What kind of martial skills does he have? I'm not too clear. Hong Mengshu shook her head. I only know that I have a fire martial spirit. I don't know anything else. That bastard, could it be that he has multiple martial spirits? He cultivates multiple Dao cores at the same time? Yi Yaoshue thought for a bit and said again, how did he take away my clothes? Do you know about that kind of ability? That is Qin Yun's mysterious penetration divine ability. Hong Mengshu and Yu Shutian are also not clear about it. They shook their heads. Yu Shutian knows that Qin Yun has Star Lord Inscription Spirit and is also the sect master of Inscription Gate. She is a member of Inscription Gate, so she cannot betray Qin Yun. That immoral, venerable master. I will definitely teach him a lesson. Yi Yaoshue became more and more angry the more she thought about it. Yi Yaoshue's subordinate, a Liang, arrived at Star Traveling Pagoda's dilapidated entrance with a beautiful invitation card in his hand. Although there's no door, a Liang did not go in. Instead, he shouted from outside, I am First Pagoda's a Liang, Madame Yi Yaoshue's subordinate. I came here to deliver an invitation card. Qin Yun is not inside Star Traveling Pagoda. Instead, he used the starry sky teleportation formation to arrive at the safe and mysterious small star. He is healing inside the star origin great formation. Lanchin's finger has already been reattached. He has star totem. Now he is absorbing star power very quickly through the star origin great formation and recovering very quickly. Qin Yun's recovery speed is also very fast inside the star origin great formation. His injured muscles and bones are already gradually recovering. Star Picking Pavilion's first floor. An old man walked in and said, Xiao Yun, someone sent by Yi Yaoshue wants to see you. He wants to give you an invitation card and invite you to a banquet. Qin Yun carefully thought about it and realized that Yi Yaoshue is suspicious of him. Senior brother, let that guy take the invitation card and go back. Tell him that I am healing and not seeing anyone. Qin Yun said. All right, that senior brother said with smile. Xiao Yun, you have rejected Yi Yaoshue's invitation. She will surely be very angry. After that senior brother came out of Star Traveling Pagoda's entrance, he said to a Liang, junior brother said that he is healing and not seeing anyone. Please take the invitation card and go back. A Liang frowned and said, all right, everyone knows that Qin Yun's injuries are very serious. After all, he took 10 attacks from a peak martial emperor head-on. Being able to survive is already very tenacious. A Liang immediately returned. Yi Yaoshue is currently receiving Hong Mengshu and Yu Shutian on the balcony. A Liang returned with the invitation card and said, Madam Yi, Qin Xiao Yun said that he is healing and not seeing anyone. He asked me to bring the invitation card back. Madam Yi, it is indeed inappropriate for you to invite him now. His injuries are very serious. Hong Mengshu and Yu Shutian's heart trembled hearing this, but they are able to remain calm and did not show any strange expression. Don't believe his nonsense. Yi Yaoshue coldly groaned and said, I am very clear about Precious Dragon Pagoda's Yi Penghong's strength. Qin Xiao Yun took 10 attacks from Yi Penghong, and not only did he not fall down, he even flew back to Star Traveling Pagoda on his own. His injuries are not very serious. Moreover, if his injuries were very serious, he would have gone into death seclusion to heal. He would not have let anyone pass on his message. He is purposely not accepting the invitation card. Madame Ye's analysis is correct. I was negligent. Liang promptly lowered his head and said, It has nothing to do with you. I will personally go. Xiao Tian, Mengshu, are you coming with me? Yi Yaoshue said, that Qin Xiaoyan said bad things about me on the stage today. I generously invited him, but he actually refused. He is not giving me any face. Hong Mengshu and Yu Shutian nodded their heads and agreed to go with Qin Yun, because a super genius has appeared in Star Traveling Pagoda. Therefore, the people in charge of gathering information are loitering outside Star Traveling Pagoda. If not for gathering information, normally no one would come near this broken-down pagoda. The outside of Star Traveling Pagoda is so dilapidated that it looks like an abandoned building. Everyone who came here cannot help but frown. Even though it is night, with the help of bright moonlight and starlight, they can clearly see the scars on the surface of Star Traveling Pagoda. Yi Yaoxue, Hong Mengshu, and Yu Shutian arrived outside Star Traveling Pagoda. This pagoda is very awesome. Back then, our first pagoda seniors joined hands to attack it, but it still managed to stand tall. It seems like this is the first time Yi Yaoxue has come here. She somewhat emotionally sighed and said, Star Traveling Pagoda is indeed worthy of being the previous first pagoda. Yi Yaoxue's appearance outside Star Traveling Pagoda caused all the people in the vicinity to be extremely shocked. They promptly used sound transmission magic tools to spread this important news. Not long after, many people in the vicinity arrived. Everyone knows that Qin Yun has repeatedly used Yi Yaoxue's name on the 100 Refining Plaza's battle stage. This caused many of Yi Yaoxue's followers to become furious. Chapter 950. Jointly resisting enemy Yi Yaoxue is standing at the entrance of Star Traveling Pagoda's first floor. Since there is no door, she can directly see that the inside is in shambles. I am First Pagoda's chief disciple Yi Yaoxue. I want to invite Star Traveling Pagoda's chief disciple Qin Xiaoyun for a gathering. Yi Yaoxue's gentle and amiable voice is very pleasant to hear. Although her voice is gentle and beautiful, it can be transmitted all around. This voice is neither loud nor soft, but contains a very mystical power. It can be heard from far away. Not only it is not ear-piercing, it is also very pleasant and comfortable to listen to. Yi Yaoxue's attitude is very good. This caused many people nearby to feel amazed. Many people here want to go over and chat with Yi Yaoxue, but they know that Yi Yaoxue doesn't like to talk to strangers. So they did not go over, they can only watch from far away. An old man walked out and said, Xiaoyun said that First Pagoda and Star Traveling Pagoda are irreconcilable enemies. He doesn't want to see you. He also said that you are a weasel, that you have bad intentions. Yi Yaoxue cursed a few times in her heart, but on the surface, she is very gentle and said again, I brought some healing medicine for him to heal his injuries. The old man went in for a while, then came out again and said, he wants you to bring the healing medicine back. He said that he doesn't trust anyone from First Pagoda, let alone Yi Yaoxue, who lied before. Yi Yaoxue gnashed her teeth in anger, but she did not show it. She's just calmly standing there, suppressing her anger. Many people watching from the side find this scene inconceivable, because Qin Xiaoyun spoke ill of Yi Yaoxue on the battle stage. Yet not only did Yi Yaoxue not blame him, she even delivered medicine to his door. The funny thing is that Yi Yaoxue was actually rejected. Yi Yaoxue said, I want to go in and see him. She finished speaking and quickly rushed towards the door. The old man saw Yi Yaoxue and anxiously yelled, Don't recklessly rush in. No matter what, I want to see him. Yi Yaoxue's voice became somewhat ice-cold. Then she rushed towards the door. Bang! Yi Yaoxue collided with the formless barrier at the door and let out a delicate shout. This is what is going on. Star Traveling Pagoda actually has such a strong barrier. Yi Yaoxue said, with some embarrassment, she is basically unable to pass through the barrier. After the Star Origin Great Formation was restored, Star Traveling Pagoda's various formidable barriers also gradually recovered. Moreover, they are all under Qin Yun's control. I want to see your tower master. Yi Yaoxue said again, I am First Pagoda's chief disciple. I have important matter to discuss with your Star Traveling Pagoda's Pagoda Master. Pagoda Master doesn't want to see you. Please go back. The old man at the door said. The spectators are also very amazed because Star Traveling Pagoda's Great Formation has actually recovered. This caused her to suspect that Qin Xiaoyun might be the immoral venerable master who drove her crazy. Yi Yaoxue's beautiful eyes flickered as she said again, Dragon Sect people will arrive in 2 days. At that time, our 100 Pagoda sect will go and welcome them. Your Star Traveling Pagoda has not had a chief disciple for many years, so you do not know about this matter. I came here to tell you all about it. Once the people from the Dragon Sect arrive, I, As the chief disciple of the first pagoda, will have to lead the chief disciples of the other pagodas to fight against the dragon sect. This is also what dragon sect has agreed with us. We will compete every once in a while. If our 100 pagoda sect wins, they will cede some or veins and all kinds of resources to us. If we lose, we will let them take away a great amount of resources. Yi Yaoshue saw the old man's expression of, "It's none of my business," and said again, "I know that your star-traveling pagoda's resources will be cut off for 30,000 years, but when our 100 pagoda sect encounters outside enemies, we must unite to resist. Before, you didn't have a chief disciple, so we did not come find you. But now, you have a chief disciple who is not weak, so he must come. This matter, your pagoda master should understand it better. So I want to see your pagoda master." The old man can only continue talking with Qin Yun. Qin Yun is now the pagoda master. He is also the chief disciple. Not long after, the old man ran out again and said, Xiao Yun said, "Tell him the location and time. As soon as dragon sect people arrive, he will immediately rush over." Pagoda master said that he is not free. He cannot meet you. 2 days later, morning, 100 refining plaza. If he doesn't come, he will have to bear the consequences. Yi Yaoshue said. Yi Yaoshue finished speaking and left with Hong Mengshu and Yu Shutian. She is filled with belly full of anger because she has suffered a loss. "I am so angry. This star-traveling pagoda is actually pretending to be dead. You should know that all the pagoda masters below rank 30 are very courteous and respectful when they see me. However, their chief disciple and pagoda master of star-traveling pagoda unexpectedly do not even show their face. They're looking down on me too much. It is clear that they're doing this on purpose." Yi Yaoshue furiously said while flying in the sky. Yi Yaoshue is the chief disciple of First Pagoda. For many years, because of her, no chief disciple of other pagoda has been able to defeat her. Because of this, First Pagoda can maintain its first rank. Second Pagoda, Divine Sword Pagoda, is very strong. It is said that Pagoda Beast and Pagoda Master are stronger than First Pagoda. However, they can't find a suitable person to defeat Yi Yaoshue. That is why Divine Sword Pagoda is always suppressed. Therefore, Yi Yaoshue's position in First Pagoda is very high. She also occupied a lot of resources before, but because she felt apologetic, she gave up on occupying a lot of resources and went to obtain them herself. It is said that even though she gave up on occupying a lot of resources, she still obtained a lot of resources. Everyone is not surprised that Yi Yaoshue suffered a loss at Star-Traveling Pagoda's hands. Star-Traveling Pagoda and First Pagoda have deep enmity. Now that Star-Traveling Pagoda is on the rise, they will certainly not bow down to First Pagoda. After all, Star-Traveling Pagoda's current decline is caused by First Pagoda. Qin Yun asked Granny Star inside Star Picking Pavilion, "Is the matter regarding Dragon Sect true?" Granny Star nodded and said, "It is true. At that time, there will be many competitions. 100 Pagoda Sect will be the defending side. The conditions will be very harsh for us. Therefore, 100 Pagoda Sect cannot lose. At that time, as chief disciple, even if you don't put in any effort, you will still have to support them." "All right, I'll go take a look in 2 days." Qin Yun said. "Xiao Yun, are your injuries all right?" Granny Star asked. "I'm fine. I'll be fine very soon," Qin Yun said with a smile. Next 2 days, Qin Yun recuperated and finally returned to his peak condition. 2 days passed by in a blink. Qin Yun is wearing a golden lion head mask. He is wearing special refined gray clothes and is flying toward 100 Refining Plaza with Granny Star. It is still early in the morning. The sky has just brightened. There are not many people in 100 Refining Plaza, but Yi Yaoshue has already arrived. She is wearing white and blue tight-fitting clothes. Her hair is tied up. Her attire is very refreshing. This is also her attire for battle. Seeing Granny Star arrive, she promptly flew over. She is very polite and gentle. Her face is filled with sweet and charming smile, and she said, "Junior Yi Yaoshue greets Granny Star." "Little girl, you were not like this in front of me before," Granny Star said in bad mood. "Yaoshue was young and arrogant back then. I offended Granny Star. Please forgive me." Yi Yaoshua lowered her head and said with guilty expression, Forget it, forget it. You have contributed a lot to 100 Pagoda sect for many years. Granny Star sighed. But the enmity between our star traveling pagoda and your first pagoda is not so easy to resolve. Yi Yaoshua said, That is the matter of our ancestors. Us younger generation should resolve it. She looked at Qin Yun and said, This must be junior brother Qin Xiaoyun. Why are you wearing a lion head mask? Qin Yun deliberately said in rough voice, Because I am so handsome that I can shake heaven and earth. I don't want a woman like you to be infatuated with me. Yi Yaoshua did not flare up. Instead, she sweetly smiled and said, Junior brother Qin is truly humorous. Take off your mask. Senior sister will not be infatuated with you. Qin Yun did not say anything. He pretended to look all around. Yi Yaoshua very much wants to tear off Qin Yun's mask to see whether or not he is that immoral, venerable master, but with Granny Star here, she doesn't dare. Qin Yun cursed in his heart. This wretched Yi Yaoshua, why is she so suspicious of me? It seems like she thinks that I look like a venerable master. She will recognize me. If only Yueme was here, she would have turned me into a bald head or something. She would have been able to deceive her. Ling Yuner charmingly smiled and said, A woman's self-awareness is very scary. It doesn't matter. She has no evidence to prove me. I will just ignore her. Qin Yun said again. Along with the 9 suns slowly rising, the earth is illuminated by the bright and beautiful sunlight. Many chief disciples have arrived. Even those middle-aged chief disciples respectfully greet Yi Yaoshua as big senior sister. Qin Yun also saw some familiar faces, for example Murong Tianjia, Murong Changwu, and Murong Yue. Murong Changwu and Murong Yue are actually 100 Pagoda sect's disciples. Apart from them, there are ancient star pagodas Yushutian, Hong Mengshu, Kong Feiqing, and Gongfian. Although they're new disciples because they have good relationship with Yi Yaoshua, they came over to greet Qin Yun. Yu Shutian and Hong Mengshu almost laughed out loud seeing Qin Yun wearing a lion head mask. Murong Tianjia looked at Qin Yun with a smile and asked, Junior brother Qin, why are you wearing a mask? Qin Yun said with coarse voice, Dragon sect people cultivate dragon power. Dragons are afraid of heavenly lions. I can suppress them with this mask. Someone said with sneer, Why are you so secretive? Don't tell me you are an incomparably ugly guy. Qin Yun said in loud voice, It is precisely because I am so handsome that I can shock the heaven and earth and make ghosts and gods weep that I don't want to reveal my true appearance, so that you bunch of ugly people won't be able to show your face. Bastard, who are you calling ugly? I was so handsome that I made a group of women cry. A young man said in a very unconvinced manner. Many people who believe themselves to be very handsome cursed Qin Yun one after another. Chapter 951. Chapter 951 Confrontation of Martial Emperor's majority of the people gathered here are chief disciples. Even if they are not chief disciples, they are still very outstanding. Hearing Qin Yun's words, they immediately exploded in anger. All kind of profanity immediately bombarded Qin Yun from all directions. Qin Yun is wearing a mask. Nobody can see his face. If they saw that he is laughing, they would become even more furious. Yi Yaoshua is also very unhappy and said, Junior brother Qin, I, Yi Yaoshua, am not a person who looks at appearances. Don't speak so excessively. Fellow martial brothers and sisters are only defending me out of respect. Many people applauded and praised Yi Yaoshua's words. Murong Yue lightly groaned and said, Today we're going to fight Dragon Sect. We should unite. But this guy is trying to sow discord among us. Qin Yun said, Our star-traveling pagoda is a trash pagoda. Not only you don't help us, you have been bullying us for so many years. How can we unite? Someone said with sneer, Junior brother Qin, you are very awesome, but rest assured, today we will fight Dragon Sect. We will not let you take action. Because with your current strength, how can you help us? Indeed, he is a guy who believes himself infallible. He knows that star-traveling pagoda is trash pagoda. We don't need his help. For many years, Our 100 Pagoda sect has defeated Dragon Sect several times without Star Traveling Pagoda's help. Just watch the show from the side. So what if your Star Traveling Pagoda is very awesome? If you defeat Dragon Sect, you get nothing. We don't expect you to do anything. All the pagoda ranked below 50th, just watch from the back. We only let you come to make up the numbers. Qin Yun said to Granny Star. We will go over there. We have no business here. Soon after, Granny Star and Qin Yun arrived at the side of the 100 Refining Plaza. The disciples on the side are all disciples of the pagoda ranked below 50th. They don't have much say in 100 Pagoda sect. They don't have many resources, so their overall strength is not high. Yi Yaoshue is disappointed that she cannot see Qin Yun's appearance. Dragon sect disciples have arrived. A large golden cloud suddenly floated over from the east of the plaza. A large group of people are flying over with overbearing aura. After they arrived, they floated in the air, beating gongs and drums, stirring up a great commotion. The people of the Dragon sect landed on the 100 Refining Square arrogantly. The drums shook the sky, and the sound waves reverberated in all directions. It had a kind of might. The person who led the Dragon sect disciples here was a handsome young man dressed in golden armor. He wore a dragon crown on his head and held a long spear in his hand. He looked very majestic and gave off a very powerful aura. Looking at him from afar, one could tell that he was very strong. Granny Star said, That is Dragon Sect's strongest late-stage martial emperor, Long Fengyu. Normally, peak martial emperors are not allowed to participate in this kind of competition because most of them are preparing to cross half immortal tribulation. Therefore, Dragon Sect and 100 Pagoda Sect have agreed that peak martial emperors are not allowed to participate. Qin Yun looked at Yi Yaoshua's group and asked, It seems like there are no elders from our 100 Pagoda sect. Headmaster, elders, and protectors, are they not coming out? Granny Star said, Because they're fighting with Dragon Sect people in other places. This is the battlefield of the youngsters. Dragon Sect's leader is Long Fengyu and 100 Pagoda Sect's leader is Yi Yaoshue. Below peak martial emperors, Yi Yaoshue is indeed the strongest, so she is in charge. Qin Yun lightly groaned and said, This big talker is actually shouldering such a heavy responsibility. I really couldn't tell. Granny Star said with a smile, First Pagoda has obtained the most resources. She's also directly benefiting from it, so she also has to exert herself. Dragon Sect's Long Fengyu is standing at the front. He placed a spear on the ground, looked at Yi Yaoshue, and said with a smile, Yi Yaoshue, you are still mid-stage martial emperor? Even though you are very strong, it is not easy for you to break through. But this is also normal. Who told your cultivation path to be so different from others? Long Fengyu, last time we set the rules. This time, it is your turn to set the rules. Yi Yaoshue's voice is very cold. Even though she is a woman, she is now filled with a very intimidating aura. Directly state the rules, and then begin the competition. There will be 3 rounds of competition. You must win every round to successfully defend. This time you're defending side. You should be clear about the rules. Long Fengyu said, I know, there is no need for you to remind me. Yi Yaoshue said, The first round of competition is between martial emperors. The winner will be decided by winning 2 out of 3 rounds. You must win 2 rounds to successfully defend, and then proceed to the next round. Long Fengyu said, The second round of competition is between martial kings. The rules are the same as the first round. You must win 2 rounds. Speaking up to here, Long Fengyu said with a smile, The third round of competition is about inscription. There will be talisman crafting, tool refining, formation setting, material production, puppet competition, finesse of inscription, and many other kinds of competition. In this round, your inscription masters must win 6 rounds in a row to win this round. The last round of competition is very harsh. 100 Pagoda Sect's disciples immediately protested and began complaining one after another. Dragon Sect's disciples also began shouting and beating gongs and drums to retaliate against 100 Pagoda Sect. Yi Yaoshue loudly shouted, The last round is too harsh. We don't agree. The noisy hunter refining plaza also became quiet. Long Fengyu laughed loudly and said, "It is not up to you to disagree. The rules you set for us before, weren't they also very harsh?" Yi Yaoshue said, "Then we can only ask the elders to come out and discuss. In any case, I don't agree to the last round of competition." "Please, please." Long Fengyu took out a communication magic tool. Is a Dao tool treasure mirror. Yi Yaoshue's sound transmission magic tool is a very small and exquisite sound transmission conch. Is far less precious than Long Fengyu's Dao tool treasure mirror. The scene became deadlocked. Qin Yun curiously asked, "Granny Star, will Sect Master and the others appear?" Granny Star said no. They won't appear. The sect masters of both sides are competing in other places. They will discuss it and then inform Yi Yaoshue and Long Fengyu. Sure enough, not long after, Long Fengyu said with smile, "The elders have already discussed it. In the third round of competition, you can send out 2 inscription masters to compete with us. And we can only send out 1 inscription master. If your first inscription master loses, that inscription master will be eliminated. The second inscription master must keep on winning. Only then can he win the last round." Yi Yaoshue is very opposed to the last round of competition, but there is no other way. The elders have already discussed it. She can only accept it. All right. Next will be the competition between martial emperors. The rules will be the same as before. You will be responsible for your own injuries and death on the battle stage. You're not allowed to use weapons, poison, or concealed weapons. Yi Yaoshue said, "We know the rules. There is no need for you to remind us." Long Fengyu said with smile, "Of course, since this is your battle stage, we will check the formation of your battle stage to prevent you from cheating." Yi Yaoshue groaned and said, "Please do as you wish. 100 Refining Plaza is very big. There are also many battle stages. The battle stage in the middle is the biggest and also the main battle stage. All kinds of barriers are very complete." Yi Yaoshue is also taking advantage of this time to arrange people to fight. 3 martial emperors. I will fight first. Murong Tianjia will fight second. Yi Yaoshue looked at Murong Tianjia and said again, "Even though you have just become mid-stage martial emperor, your strength is comparable to late-stage martial emperors. I feel more assured with you." Yi Yaoshue looked at Divine Sword Pagoda's people and said again, "The third battle will be arranged according to the situation." "Oh, that's right. Where is your Divine Sword Pagoda's Xie Wufeng? He is a peak martial king. He is required to fight in the Martial King Showdown. With him here, we can definitely win." Murong Tianjia said, "He is in seclusion. He said he wants to break through to Martial Emperor." Why is he suddenly about to break through? I remember that he just became peak Martial King not long ago. Yi Yaoshue is somewhat amazed. She sighed and said, "If he were here, we would surely win one of the Martial King Showdown." Yi Yaoshue thought for a bit and said, "Murong Changwu will fight first. Murong Yue will fight second. The third will be decided according to the situation." It must be known that Yi Yaoshue frequently fights against 100 Pagoda sect disciples, so she is very clear about their level. No one has any objection to this. Even though 3 of the people fighting are from Murong family, everyone knows that these outstanding grandchildren of City Master Murong are very awesome. It must be known that even many disciples of 100 Pagoda sect do not get as many resources as these outstanding Murong family disciples. For example, last time City Master Murong took out many Regent Origin Stones in one go. Therefore, Murong family disciples get even more resources from 100 Pagoda sect. Dragon sect's people finished inspecting the battle stage. Long Fengyu walked onto the largest battle stage in the middle of 100 Refining Plaza. It is clear that he wants to fight first. He must win first to raise morale. Therefore, the leaders of both sides are going on stage. Qin Yun said, "Granny Star, can we go a bit closer? I want to see Yaoshue's strength from close range." Granny Star said with smile, "Of course we can. Let's go." The battle stage is round. It is several hundred meters wide. Although there are not many formation pillars around it, they're all a kilometer tall and can release a very strong barrier. Many people were floating in mid-air, which allowed them to see clearly. The barrier around the battle stage is also a kilometer tall. When the fight starts, it is possible that it will be in the air. Qin Yun is watching from the ground. Long Fangyu is a late-stage martial emperor. Although he looks very confident, he is feeling great pressure in his heart. He is very clear about Yi Yaoshua's strength. Even though she is a mid-stage martial emperor, her strength is very formidable. Otherwise, she would not be able to lead the young disciples of 100 Pagoda sect. Although Qin Yun is wearing a mask, he can still see what is happening outside. Naturally, his lion head mask is very conspicuous. After all, there's only one freak like him in the entire plaza. Qin Yun doesn't care about other people's gaze at all. He is calmly and earnestly staring at the battle stage, waiting for the battle to begin. The person below the stage, quickly take off your mask. Long Fangyu also saw Qin Yun's mask. He feels very uncomfortable and loudly shouted. Qin Yun's lion head mask is made by imitating heavenly lions. The location where Dragon Sect is built often attracts heavenly lionine spirits, causing Dragon Sect disciples to be harassed by heavenly lionine spirits and suffer great losses. Therefore, Dragon Sect disciples have a shadow of heavenly lions. Therefore, when they see this kind of lion head mask, they feel very uncomfortable. Chapter 952. Clash of Geniuses. Hearing Qin Yun's words, Long Fangyu furiously said, "Where did you get that lion head? Quickly take it off." Qin Yun also found it somewhat strange because he never expected that Dragon Sect disciples would be so afraid of heavenly lions. "What does it have to do with you where I got it from?" Qin Yun said snappily. "I'm wearing it properly. Why should I take it off?" Long Fangyu looked at Yi Yaoshue and said in cold voice, "Yi Yaoshue, quickly tell him to take off that lion mask." Yi Yaoshue is somewhat startled in her heart because Long Fangyu is very disgusted with that lion head. She looked at the lion head and recalled what Qin Yun had said before. He said that it was a heavenly lion head and that Dragon Sect disciples were most afraid of heavenly lions. Now 100 Pagoda Sect's disciples saw that Long Fangyu is disgusted by Qin Yun's head cover and recalled what Long Fangyu said about heavenly lion. It turned out that the disciples of the Dragon's Gate really disliked the heavenly lions. "That guy has enmity with me. If you have any method, take off his head. Are you ready? We are about to begin," Yi Yaoshua said. Long Fangyu clenched his teeth, furiously glared at Qin Yun, and cursed in low voice. "Bastard, just you wait. I will deal with you." Qin Yun shook the heavenly lion's head and said, "Come if you have the guts." He is not a bit afraid of Long Fangyu. He can easily suppress people who cultivate dragon bloodline. Long Fangyu is doing his best not to look at Qin Yun. He is focusing his attention on Yi Yaoshue. Yi Yaoshue looked at the old man below the stage. The old man nodded, took out a large gong, and sounded it. With a clang, the first round of the martial monarchs duel officially began. Excluding peak martial emperors and above, this is the battle between the two strongest people of Dragon Sect and 100 Pagoda Sect. Although Long Fangyu is wearing luxurious armor, it is not a defensive treasure. Otherwise, the barrier here would be able to detect it. Even though he is wearing armor, his movement technique is still very nimble. His movement speed on the battle stage is not the least bit slower than Yi Yaoshua. It is even a bit faster. The two of them were originally separated by 200 meters. As soon as they started, they sprinted towards each other. Almost in an instant, the two of them collided. In a short moment, the two of them had exchanged over 100 moves. On the martial stage, red and golden lights flickered continuously. Every time they made a move, it was like a thunderstorm and lightning danced. On the spacious martial stage, all kinds of tyrannical auras flowed, turning into a mist of light that floated above the stage. Long Fangyu and Yi Yaoshua's speed is very fast. Both of them are moving back and forth on the battle stage. Without a certain cultivation, it is very difficult to see their moves and movement trajectory. Qin Yun is secretly apprehensive of her formidable strength. This woman is just a mid-stage martial emperor. How can she be so powerful? Qin Yin said in his heart, "You are only late-stage martial king, but your strength is inconceivably formidable." Ling Yun said with charming smile, "Super geniuses are like this." Although Long Fangyu's cultivation is one level higher than Yi Yaoxue, he is not able to gain any advantage over Yi Yaoxue. Yi Yaoxue's attribute power is still not very clear. At most, he can only see her releasing very strong red light. In the red light, there were very clear threads that were jumping around, like red electric threads. If one did not look carefully, it would be difficult to see those dense electric threads. And Qin Yun can clearly see those electric threads wandering around within the energy. They are a kind of rune. Her rune martial spirit must be innate. I don't know what kind of rune it is. It makes her power so dreadful. It looks like thunder and lightning, but it is not. Qin Yun has been staring at Yi Yaoxue. He is very carefully observing the energy she is releasing. He wants to clearly see those incomparably fine runes. Yi Yaoxue's martial spirit and power attribute are very mysterious. Qin Yin asked Granny Star, but she also doesn't know. Although Long Fangyu is fighting very steadily, he is even more astonished in his heart. This is not the first or second time he has exchanged blows with Yi Yaoxue. And this time, he discovered that Yi Yaoxue's strength is even more formidable than before. Long Fangyu, you have not become stronger. Yi Yaoxue lightly smiled, then casually attacked with her palm and easily blocked Long Fangyu's dragon head-like fist. Strangely, the valiant power condensed on Long Fangyu's arm suddenly dissipated and rushed out of his body. Long Fangyu's fist has been easily blocked by Yi Yaoxue. Moreover, a peculiar power even hit his arm, causing him to feel pain, causing him to let out a muffled groan. However, he can only continue to attack very quickly. He wants to use his strongest offensive to suppress Yi Yaoxue. Savage woman. Blue veins popped out on Long Fangyu's forehead. He roared like a dragon. At the same time he attacked with both fists, the armor on his arms suddenly burst open and faint golden scales appeared on his arms. Long Fangyu's hands also somewhat look like dragon claws. Dragon transformation? Qin Yin is a bit amazed. This guy has not mastered it. He can only barely strengthen a dragon. He saw Long Songxing's dragon transformation before. His dragon claws are very formidable. They look like real dragon claws. Long Fangyu's arms are also only faintly covered with dragon scales. Moreover, his arms have slightly swelled up. His claws are slightly longer. They only look like dragon claws. However, they can suddenly increase Long Fangyu's power. Before, Yi Yaoxue could easily block Long Fangyu's ferocious fist attack. At the same time, she scattered the power on Long Fangyu's arms. And now, when Yi Yaoxue's palm came in contact with Long Fangyu's dragon arms, her lily-white hands slightly trembled due to the power. The mysterious red power on her hands also scattered and became disorderly. Boom! After Long Fangyu's power suddenly increased, he unleashed swift and fierce attack. The energy released by his dragon arms transformed into even stronger golden dragon image. At first it was only dragon image, but later it gradually turned into dragon image. This guy is using mysterious technique. It should be a very good martial spirit mysterious technique. Granny Star said, Long Fangyu, you actually mastered this kind of king-tier mysterious technique. Yi Yaoxue continuously retreated. She cried out in alarm with frown. Long Fangyu's arms are like two ferocious dragons, unceasingly pouncing and biting. Yi Yaoxue wanted to attack, but Long Fangyu's ferocious counterattack kept pushing her back. In terms of power, Yi Yaoxue is now at a disadvantage. King-tier mysterious technique. This is a true mysterious technique. This is our dragon sex mighty dragon mysterious technique. It is a very strong spirit skill. It can turn one's arms into two dragons and possess formidable dragon power. Long Fangyu proudly said, even though I have only comprehended first layer of profound meaning, the power I obtained is enough to defeat you. Now Long Fangyu's body is covered by a very strong barrier. Yi Yaoxue's power is unable to penetrate it. Yi Yaoshua said with sneer. Using spirit skill consumes a lot of energy. If the martial spirit is too tired, it will take a very long time to recover. I want to see how long you can last. Roar, roar, roar. Long Fanyu's arms trembled. As he pounced and bit, he let out a burst of roar filled with might. He unceasingly attacked Yi Yaoshua like lightning. Yi Yaoshua has no advantage against Long Fanyu in terms of speed, so it is very difficult for her to dodge. She can only use offense as defense to meet the two golden lightning dragon arms. Apart from the half-immortals, all the martial kings and martial emperors are looking at the intense battle on the battle stage with dumbstruck expressions. With Long Fanyu's strength, if he was in our 100 Pagoda sect, he would surely be able to enter top 20. Let's see whether or not Senior Sister Yi can defeat him. She definitely can. Senior Sister Yi's battle today is not as wild and fierce as before. She is mainly defending. Even if she attacks, it is for defensive purposes. Indeed, she is doing this to be conservative. Her power must have already reached the limit. With her mid-stage martial emperor cultivation, she can fight evenly against Long Fanyu. She will not lose. Senior Sister Yi's most dreadful aspect is her endurance. It is very astonishing. Many peak martial emperors are discussing among themselves. All the peak martial emperors of 100 Pagoda sect have fought with Yi Yaoshua before. Even peak martial emperors ranked above Yi Yaoshua don't dare to look down on her. Qinyan now more or less grasped Yi Yaoshua's strength. He said in his heart, Yi Yaoshua's endurance is indeed astonishing. There are many remnant tyrannical energy aura on the battle stage. They are all left behind by Long Fanyu. Even if Yi Yaoshua released them, she can quickly retract them back in her body. Ling Yuner is also very amazed. Indeed, her power seems to be inseparable from her body. Moreover, there's a barrier around the battle stage. As long as the energy doesn't fly too far, she can completely retract it. This way, her consumption is very low. She can defeat peak martial emperors. Could it be that she is playing a battle of attrition? Qinyan said in his heart. Yi Yaoshua will surely become his strongest enemy in the future. If he can clearly understand her now, he will be able to find a way to win. Yi Yaoshua is also using forging from time to time, shooting out red light that look like lightning. This can block Long Fanyu's powerful attack. Long Fanyu is now sweating profusely because he knows that Yi Yaoshua is very good at consuming energy. She can maintain her peak state when her power is missing. But he can't because he is constantly using king-tier mysterious technique. His consumption is very great. He can only maintain his peak state for a very short period of time. Yi Yaoshua, I will not lose to you this time. After Long Fanyu calculated in his heart, he suddenly let out a deep roar. His arm flashed with a burst of glaring golden light, and a golden dragon illusion flew out like a light beam. The golden dragon illusion flew out, and in a flash it arrived at Yi Yaoshua. Yi Yaoshua has no time to dodge or block, and was hit head-on. Boom, boom. After the golden dragon illusion flew over, it suddenly exploded and gave rise to a burst of golden light wave. Yi Yaoshua let out a delicate cry. Because of the explosion, her ponytail draped over her shoulder. Her body was sent flying by the explosion and crashed into a pillar of the barrier. 100 Refining Plaza burst into an uproar. Yi Yaoshua has actually been seriously injured. Many 100 Pagoda sect disciples are anxiously shouting Senior Sister. What caused people to be even more astonished is that Long Fanyu is also injured. His arm is bleeding. Chapter 953. Heavenly Corpse. Chapter 953. Heavenly Corpse dense golden light is floating on the battle stage. This kind of aura is the aura of a martial spirit. Just now, Long Fanyu separated a part of his martial spirit and released even stronger power through mighty dragon mysterious technique. Yi Yaoshua did not expect this and was seriously injured. Naturally, Long Fanyu's injuries are not small, but he feels that Yi Yaoshua's injuries are even more serious than his. Yi Yaoshue saw Long Fangyu rush through the golden energy mist and arrived. Relying on her rich battle experience and keen awareness, her palm flashed like lightning and immediately flickered with a very strong red light. In that instant, Qin Yun saw through the red light and saw even more details of the runes. He has been focusing his mind all along, so when the red light appeared, a great amount of details of the runes were branded into his mind. Ah! Long Fangyu's fist collided with Yi Yaoshue's palm and immediately split open. Flesh and blood filled with golden light splashed out. All that was left of his arm were golden bones. Flesh and blood, tendons, and everything else have been jolted and scattered. I can see Long Fanyu's expression is filled with fear as he yelled. Yi Yaoshue gasped for air, looked at Long Fanyu, and coldly groaned. "You will never be my opponent." Long Fanyu lost this time. It is equivalent to gambling, but he lost. Not only his arms are heavily injured, even his martial spirit has suffered some damage. Although Yi Yaoshue won, her injuries are also very serious. It can be seen from her pale complexion. What kind of power is that? Qin Yin looked at Yi Yaoshue. His heart is filled with doubt. That power has no impact power. It also has no explosive power, but it caused Long Fanyu's arm to explode. Ling Yuner is also very amazed. Xiao Yun, you saw many details of the runes just now. Can you guess what kind of rune it is? That kind of complex rune. It is very possible that it is heavenly rune. Motherfucker, how can heavenly rune transform into martial spirit? Is there such a thing? Qin Yin said in his heart. Yuner, I'm also not sure if it is heavenly rune or not, but from the degree of complexity, it is even more complex than the Gemini heavenly rune I obtained before. Although Qin Yin remembers most of the details, it is completely useless because it is not a complete rune. He can only judge the complexity of a rune based on the details. The complexity was far beyond his imagination. Ling Yuner said, Xiao Yun, there must be a very formidable power hidden inside her body. It is just that she has not released it. Qin Yin also feels that she released a portion of her power in a moment of desperation. After the barrier was removed, Yi Yaoshue and Long Fangyu walked down the battle stage by themselves and took medicinal pills. They all had very good medicinal pills in their hands, which could quickly stabilize their injuries. Morong Tianjia, it is time for you to go up. They have come prepared this time. You must not lower your guard. Yi Yaoshue said. Morong Tianjia nodded his head and walked onto the battle stage. The person sent by the Dragon Sect was a skinny young man. The skinny youth from the Dragon's Gate sect wore a set of yellowish-white clothes. He looked sallow and emaciated. His sallow face gave off a sinister feeling, and he was expressionless. Granny Star said in low voice, Xiao Yun, this guy is very strong. He is the strongest disciple with another surname in the Dragon Sect. Dragon Sect was originally established by Long family. After it became a sect, they also accepted disciples with another surname. Generally speaking, most of the strongest disciples in Dragon Sect are surnamed Long, and this disciple with another surname is surely stronger than many disciples with the surname Long. Otherwise, they would not have sent him up. Granny Star, you seem to understand Dragon Sect's matters very well. Qin Yin said with smile. This person doesn't look very strong. His aura is also very weak. This guy's name is Shi Xuanfei. He awakened a red variant martial spirit. It is a kind of martial spirit that does not feel pain. Granny Star lowered her voice. He cultivates a lost cultivation method. It is to cultivate his body like a corpse. That cultivation method is called Heavenly Corpse Technique. He wants to refine himself into a powerful heavenly corpse. No wonder he looks so strange. So it is like this. Qin Yun said in amazement. Indeed, don't look at how skinny he is. His body is very strange. I don't know how he cultivated it. Heavenly Corpse Technique is very evil. Granny Star said with frown. Shi Xuanfei is a late-stage martial emperor. Even peak martial emperors would not be able to defeat him so easily. Qin Yun said with frown. Yi Yaoshue sent Morong Tianjia up. Isn't this somewhat inappropriate? No matter what, She should have sent a late-stage martial emperor up. Granny Star shook her head and said, Murong Tianjia is a super genius. Even though he is mid-stage martial emperor and has just broken through, his strength is definitely stronger than majority of late-stage martial emperors. Really? Could it be that 100 Pagoda sect doesn't have a late-stage martial emperor super genius? Qinyan looked at the pale-faced Yaoshua and said in low voice, Granny Star, has Yaoshua been stuck at a bottleneck for a long time? Granny Star nodded. Indeed. This is also something she is very anxious about. Murong Tianjia and Shi Xuanfei are on the battle stage. They waited for the barrier to open and then signaled the judge to get ready. The judge rang the gong. The second round of martial emperor competition has begun. If Murong Tianjia wins this round, 100 Pagoda sect will be able to defend the first round. If he loses, 100 Pagoda sect will have to send someone who can win the third round and defend the second round. If Murong Tianjia loses the third round, 100 Pagoda sect will lose this round. From the start, Shi Xuanfei is standing motionless. His eyes are completely emotionless looking at Murong Tianjia. Murong Tianjia waved his hand and condensed a black sword in his hand. He is not a sword cultivator. The sword in his hand is condensed from sword martial spirit. Moreover, it is black. Having a black sword martial spirit means that he has grasped a formidable divine ability. Very strong sword intent. Granny Star exclaimed in admiration. As expected of City Master Murong's strongest grandson, sword intent is not like energy aura, so it can penetrate through the barrier. That formidable sword intent is indeed very dreadful. Murong Tianjia appeared beside Shi Xuanfei in a blink of an eye with his black longsword in hand and then stabbed forward. A sword condensed from a martial spirit is not a weapon, so this is not against the rules. Even though Murong Tianjia's sword is not a real weapon, it is like a real weapon. It is comparable to a sword cultivator's origin sword. Shi Xuanfei is like a corpse. He is motionless. Murong Tianjia's sword very easily pierced towards Shi Xuanfei's body. However, Shi Xuanfei is still without any expression. His waxy yellow face is completely motionless. It is very strange. Murong Tianjia promptly pulled out his sword and vigorously kicked Shi Xuanfei. Shi Xuanfei was kicked back a few steps. There is still no expression on his face. It is impossible to see whether he is happy, angry, sad, or joyful. If his eyes were not open, people would think that he is a corpse. Dragon Sect disciples seem to be very relaxed, and 100 Pagoda Sect disciples are very worried, because they all know how dreadful Shi Xuanfei's corpse is. This is the first time Murong Tianjia is fighting this kind of strange opponent. He feels that it is incomparably thorny. Even though Shi Xuanfei is not attacking, he is giving people a very strong oppressive feeling. Murong Tianjia attacked again. This time his sword pierced through Shi Xuanfei's head. Everyone immediately cried out in alarm. Murong Tianjia's sword pierced through Shi Xuanfei's head. However, Shi Xuanfei is not reacting at all. He is still looking at Murong Tianjia with his emotionless eyes. Murong Tianjia suddenly saw killing intent flashing through Shi Xuanfei's eyes. He is greatly alarmed in his heart. He promptly pulled out his sword and retreated. However, Shi Xuanfei's waxy yellow skinny hand grabbed Murong Tianjia's black sword like lightning. 10,000 swords split the heavens. Murong Tianjia loudly shouted. The black sword in his hand suddenly transformed into over 10,000 swords and pierced Shi Xuanfei's body. This is his divine ability. No one knows what is going on. Shi Xuanfei's body has been pierced by many swords. Even though there are many holes on his body, even his eyes have been pierced through, he is still standing. The most dreadful thing is Shi Xuanfei's body is riddled with holes. He is able to quickly recover. Shi Xuanfei is unkillable. Everyone in the audience sighed in horror. Shi Xuanfei is truly too dreadful. He is being attacked like this, and yet he is still standing. Even though Murong Tianjia is a veteran of hundreds of battles, he has never met such a strange opponent. Yi Yaoshue cursed in low voice. wretched, undying, heavenly corpse. Everyone present, even peak martial emperors, are wondering how to defeat Shi Xuanfei. No matter how Murong Tianjia attacks, Shi Xuanfei's body always recovers after being injured. I need enough power to turn Shi Xuanfei's body into ashes in one go. It is very clear that Murong Tianjia doesn't have that kind of strength. Qinyan said, even though Shi Xuanfei is very difficult to kill, it is also not easy to defeat Murong Tianjia. Qinyan's current tactic is very clear. He wants to exhaust Murong Tianjia's power and then attack. This is the same tactic as Yi Yaoxue. This is the most stable tactic when facing an opponent with equal strength. Shi Xuanfei has the capital to exhaust, but Murong Tianjia doesn't. So if this continues, Murong Tianjia will surely lose. Murong Tianjia concede. If this continues, you'll be eaten by him. Yi Yaoxue said, Shi Xuanfei needs to eat many powerful corpses to cultivate heavenly corpse. If Murong Tianjia is defeated and doesn't have enough time to concede, he will be torn apart and eaten by Shi Xuanfei. Murong Tianjia is very unwilling, but he did not concede. Murong Tianjia quickly concede. Yi Yaoxue yelled again. If Murong Tianjia dies, City Master Murong will surely go crazy. I concede. Murong Tianjia clenched his teeth and unwillingly yelled. Shi Xuanfei's body that is full of holes also gradually recovered. Apart from his clothes being torn, he looks like he is completely fine. Not even a drop of blood flowed out. It is so strange that it causes people to feel fear. Long Fangyu let out a sigh of relief. They finally won the first round. He loudly said, Shi Xuanfei, continue the third round. So long as they win, they can continue the next round if they want. Yi Yaoxue looked at the people behind her. She is very anxious because none of the late-stage and mid-stage martial emperors on her side can suppress Shi Xuanfei. 100 Pagoda sect, who will you send up? Long Fangyu proudly smiled and said, could it be that your 100 Pagoda sect has run out of talent? Don't tell me you are going to be defeated in the first round. I will go. Xia Wufeng's ice-cold voice suddenly floated over from the distance. Qin Yun is secretly startled. He laughed in his heart and said, Boss Xia has finally broken through. He just became Martial Emperor, and he can already find a pretty good opponent to practice with. His luck is pretty good. Xia Wufeng has arrived, and even said he wants to fight. This caused many people to boil with excitement. Because everyone can sense the Martial Emperor aura on his body. Chapter 954. Chapter 954. Strange Man, Strange Technique. Xia Wufeng suddenly arrived, causing Yi Yaoxue to be pleasantly surprised. Xia Wufeng was dressed in white, and one of his sleeves was empty. He was a one-armed man, and everyone knew this. After he saw Murong Tianjia, he faintly smiled and said, I am late, sorry. Yi Yaoxue lightly groaned and said, Xia Wufeng, your breakthrough is really fast. It is not easy for a guy like you to break through. How did you manage to break through? Xia Wufeng said with a smile. Thanks to a friend's help, I became Martial Emperor. Otherwise, I don't know when I would have broken through. I think I could defeat you now. Don't be arrogant. I admit that you are very strong, but you are still far from being able to defeat me. Yi Yaoxue looked at the battle stage and said, the guy up there's a very strong Martial Emperor. Murong Tianjia is not his match. Can you defeat him? Murong Tianjia informed Xia Wufeng about Shi Xuanfei's situation. Before Xia Wufeng broke through, he was evenly matched with Murong Tianjia. Now that he has broken through, he is definitely stronger than Murong Tianjia. Therefore, Yi Yaoxue feels that Xia Wufeng should be able to defeat Shi Xuanfei. No problem. I will go up at once. Xia Wufeng said. He walked on the battle stage and passed by Qin Yun. He realized that this lion head is Qin Yun. Boss Xia, be careful of that guy. Don't let him eat you. Qin Yun sent sound transmission to Xia Wufeng. Understood, little brother Yun. Xia Wufeng also sent sound transmission back. Xia Wufeng jumped on the battle stage. Long Fangyu very quickly found out about Xia Wufeng's situation. He said with sneer, your 100 Pagoda sect is truly backward. Late-stage martial emperors are allowed to participate in this kind of competition. Why do you always send initial-stage martial emperors? Could it be that your 100 pagoda sects, late-stage martial emperors, are very precious? There is indeed no outstanding late-stage martial emperor in 100 pagoda sect. Although there are some very strong ones, compared to a demon like Shi Xuanfei, there is still some disparity. It is enough for us initial-stage martial emperors to win, Xiao Wufeng said, and then looked at Shi Xuanfei. Murong Yue is standing below the battle stage. She said in low voice, "Big brother, if you fight Xiao Wufeng, won't you lose to him?" Murong Tianjia said with smile, "Of course. I didn't expect him to break through so quickly. I need to become a middle-stage martial emperor to be on par with him." Yi Yaoshue said, "Although I could defeat Xiao Wufeng now, it will be very strenuous. If this guy becomes a middle-stage martial emperor, and I haven't broken through, I'm not sure that I could defeat him." Xiao Wufeng was a sword cultivator, and he was no ordinary sword cultivator. Shi Xuanfei also looked at Xiao Wufeng. He seemed to feel a sense of danger, and his originally emotionless eyes also became vigilant. The barrier was being activated, and Xiao Wufeng was also gathering his power. Qinyan asked, "Granny Star, Murong Tianjia is also a sword user. Even though he was able to chop Shi Xuanfei's body, he was unable to win. If Xiao Wufeng wants to win, what should he do?" Granny Star said, "Shi Xuanfei is formidable because his body regeneration speed is very fast. Furthermore, he's very resistant to fire, so he won't be burnt to ashes so easily. Also, his soul is very strong and special, so he can easily separate and fuse with his body. Even if that guy's body is chopped into many pieces, those pieces can very quickly fuse back together." Qinyan also doesn't know how to defeat Shi Xuanfei, unless he personally goes up and gives it a try. But with his current cultivation, he is unable to defeat Shi Xuanfei. After the barrier was activated, the martial arts competition began. Just like before, Shi Xuanfei stood motionless on his original spot. Xiao Wufeng condensed his origin sword in a split second. It is a long sword flickering with cold light. It looks just like a real sword. "I wonder what grade his origin sword is equivalent to," someone said in bewilderment. "I heard that the greater the potential of a sword cultivator, the higher the grade of their origin sword. Xiao Wufeng's origin sword is undoubtedly a Dao tool. It is at least a best quality Dao tool. In this kind of martial arts competition, someone with a best quality Dao tool will surely win. Maybe that guy Shi Xuanfei's body is also very strange. Xiao Wufeng's origin sword is indeed very astonishing. It caused many people present to discuss it one after another. Qinyan guessed that Xiao Wufeng's origin sword should also be a best quality Dao tool, because he knows Jianling Long. Her origin sword is a king grade Dao tool, just a bit away from becoming a king grade Dao tool. The situation on the battle stage is very strange, because after the martial arts competition began, both Xiao Wufeng and Shi Xuanfei did not move. Xiao Wufeng slowly walked towards Shi Xuanfei while holding his sword, then slowly stabbed towards Shi Xuanfei's abdomen. His origin sword very easily pierced through Shi Xuanfei's body. Shi Xuanfei also took action at this time. He promptly grabbed his sword and punched towards Xiao Wufeng's head. Xiao Wufeng only has one arm. In this kind of situation, it is very difficult for him to resist. He can only dodge, but that means he has to give up his origin sword. Sure enough, Xiao Wufeng chose to dodge and let go of the sword hilt. Seeing him give up his origin sword, everyone cried out in alarm. However, the sword in Shi Xuanfei's hand suddenly disappeared. It turned into a white light and returned to Xiao Wufeng's hand. Seeing this scene, everyone burst into cheers again. This is the ferociousness of origin sword. When Shi Xuanfei fought Murong Tianjia before, he did not take the initiative to attack like this. This caused many people to be amazed. After Xiao Wufeng took back his origin sword, he dodged Shi Xuanfei, who was rushing over, arrived at the side, and quickly stabbed a few times. His stabs looked very casual, but sword energy churned and violently surged out. transforming into a powerful energy that chopped Shi Xuanfei's body into several pieces. Although Shi Xuanfei's body can quickly regenerate, when facing sharp weapons, it is very easy to damage it. Shua shua shua. Xiao Wufeng brandished his sword. Sword images flew everywhere. It looks like he only brandished his sword once, but in a short period of time, he hacked more than 1,000 times. After Shi Xuanfei's body was chopped into several pieces, he was hacked into several pieces again by this wave of sword images. Seeing this scene, everyone held their breath. Xiao Wufeng's sword is very fast and very strong. If he was hit by this kind of attack, he would most likely be crippled. Long Fanyu's expression is calm and collected. He said with smile, "It is useless. Shi Xuanfei cannot die." Just as he finished speaking, his expression suddenly changed. Because after Shi Xuanfei's body fell to the ground, he did not immediately regenerate. Instead, he calmly laid on the ground and did not move at all. Xiao Wufeng looked at the old judge and said, "I won." Long Fanyu promptly yelled, "Wait a minute. How can you win? Shi Xuanfei won't die. He'll be able to reform himself immediately." Xiao Wufeng coldly smiled. "Is that so?" Finished speaking, he brandished his sword a few more times. Dense sword images rushed down like a waterfall and enveloped those broken pieces. The entire battle stage trembled unceasingly due to the impact. Those with good eyesight are all dumbstruck. That guy hacked several tens of thousands of times. Moreover, each and every one of his attacks accurately cut those broken pieces too dreadful. Granny Star said, Shi Xuanfei's body was originally just a broken piece, but after being ruthlessly hacked by Xiao Wufeng, it turned into even smaller pieces like sand. He is already dead. Xiao Wufeng looked at Long Fanyu and said, "My sword contains very strong mental power attack. Not only it cut his body, it also cut his soul. His body has been torn to pieces, his soul has flown away and scattered." Qin Yin remembers that Xiao Wufeng's mental power is not weak. Seeing this scene, Qin Yin secretly felt relieved. Dragon Sect people are all dumbstruck. They were cheering for Shi Xuanfei just a moment ago, but now he is dead. Long Fangyu doesn't dare to believe it. Because Shi Xuanfei fought many experts and was never killed, yet now he has been easily killed. No, he will surely come back to life. Long Fangyu yelled. Xiao Wufeng vigorously stamped his foot. The battle stage fiercely trembled. Those tiny pieces of corpse on the ground also jumped up from the vibration. He lightly waved his sword and released a burst of sword wind that scattered those pieces of corpse and scattered them all over the battle stage. If this is not considered a loss, then what is considered a loss? All right, give him another incense stick's worth of time. If he can't come back to life, it will be my win. Xiao Wufeng coldly said. No need to give him time. Yi Yaoshua proudly smiled and said, "We have won this battle. That guy is completely dead. It is impossible for him to come back to life." Long Fanyu firmly clenched his fists and furiously yelled, "All right, you have won this battle." The barrier opened, and Xiao Wufeng walked down from the battle stage. Yi Yaoshua said, "Our 100 Pagoda sect has won this round of Martial Emperor Showdown." A burst of joyous shouts rang out from the 100 Refining Plaza, and on the Dragon Sect people's face, each and every one of them has unsightly expression. They are filled with anger. Although Xiao Wufeng defeated Shi Xuanfei, First Pagoda's people are somewhat worried, because everyone knows that Xiao Wufeng is a disciple of Divine Sword Pagoda. And Divine Sword Pagoda is ranked second. They always wanted to fight for First Pagoda's position. If Xiao Wufeng defeats Yi Yaoshua, First Pagoda's position will not be guaranteed. Murong Changwu, you will go up and fight the first round of Martial King Showdown. Yi Yaoshua yelled. Murong Changwu immediately walked up. Third brother, do your best. Murong Yue yelled with smile. You will surely win. The person Dragon Sect sent up is a woman. She is a very flirtatious kind. However, this woman has a very large Adam's apple. Her body frame is also very big. If her head is blocked, no matter how you look, she would look like a man. Is this a man or a woman? Qin Yun asked Granny Star in low voice. He is a man. His name is Long Xian. He cultivates a kind of cultivation technique, so he has become feminine. Granny Star said. Murong Changwu felt some pressure after seeing his opponent. You are very handsome. Long Xian said. His voice is very coarse. It is a man's voice. Long Xian has a flirtatious appearance, but his voice is a man's voice. This caused many people to be amazed. Some new disciples of 100 Pagoda sect don't know who Long Xian is, so they are very amazed. And Granny Star and other old people are not surprised by this kind of thing. What kind of cultivation technique did he cultivate to turn him into a woman? Qin Yun said in amazement. Xiao Yun, do you want to cultivate? Granny Star said with smile. I don't want to, Qin Yun promptly said. Murong Changwu felt somewhat uncomfortable being stared at by Long Xian, because Long Xian is very interested in him. He is constantly throwing flirtatious glances at him. Murong Yue also felt disgusted looking at this. She loudly yelled, Third brother, you must defeat this guy. Chapter 955. Thorn Dragon. Murong Yue stomped her feet in disgust. She delicately yelled at her third brother. We must properly teach this demon a lesson. Long Xian also furiously said, Little girl, I will make you die a horrible death. The one who will die a horrible death is you. Murong Yue yelled. Murong Changwu has a headache facing this kind of opponent. He just entered 100 Pagoda sect. Moreover, he is a silver medal disciple. He doesn't know much about Dragon sect. Of course, even though he is a silver medal disciple, because of his grandfather, he is well taken care of in 100 Pagoda sect. Third brother, be careful of his mental attack. Murong Tianzhou warned. He is good at using mental power to fight. You must pay attention to guard your consciousness. Qin Yun is even more curious in his heart. Long Xian's cultivation method must be evil devil cultivation method, but he can cultivate formidable mental power. Murong Changwu nodded and also entered battle mode. After the battle began, Long Xian was the first to attack. His speed is also the fastest. Murong Changwu cultivates 3 martial spirits. Although he is not a peak martial king, his strength is not weak at all. He is even stronger than some peak martial kings. And this Long Xian is a very strong peak martial king. Murong Changwu is somewhat apprehensive seeing Long Xian arrive, but he is still able to calmly receive the attack. Little handsome brother, you are very strong. Long Xian smiled bewitchingly, but his voice is very coarse, causing people to feel very uncomfortable. Come, receive my attack. Long Xian's fists are like wind, flickering with pink light, bringing along light mist. His imposing manner is very swift and fierce. Fist shadows surged one after another, rolling up bursts of energy wave and enveloping Murong Changwu. Murong Changwu wanted to dodge, but he suddenly felt his body becoming stiff. Break! Murong Changwu's palms danced and released 2 energy waves that rushed up to meet the opponent's fist energy. Boom! 2 energy waves collided, giving rise to a deep and muffled vibration sound. Murong Changwu's stiff body became a lot more flexible. He and Long Xian were forced back by the impact of the energy wave and reached the edge of the battle stage. Long Xian is becoming more and more excited. He licked his lips and said with bewitching smile, Little handsome brother, I really want to F***CKU. Murong Changwu's face immediately filled with disgust, and he frowned. His figure suddenly flickered and split into 3 shadows. Clone Divine Ability. Granny Star yelled in shock. Murong Changwu split into 3 and attacked Long Xian from 3 sides. Seeing Murong Changwu's Clone Divine Ability, even Dragon Sect's people cried out in alarm. 100 Pagoda sect disciples also don't know that Murong Changwu has mastered this divine ability. Murong Changwu created 2 avatars. Each avatar's power is more or less the same. If there is no mishap, he will surely win this round. Yi Yaoshua said. When Qin Yun was in Murong Manor, he sparred with Murong Changwu. At that time, Murong Changwu did not use this doppelganger divine ability. Murong Changwu's clone strength is comparable to Long Xian's. As soon as they arrived, they immediately started attacking Long Xian. Granny Star said in amazement, Tian Tier, high-quality martial art, Ardent Wind Palm. This is a martial art created by Pagoda Master Murong. Murong Changwu is very familiar with using Ardent Wind Palm. Moreover, his 3 avatars are very nimble. After being besieged, Long Xian's hair became messy. His face is filled with nervousness. 3 handsome young men? Very good. Long Xian said with evil grin. His eyes suddenly flickered with pink light rays. When Murong Changwu came in contact with the pink light rays, he and his 2 avatars felt a burst of dizziness. Their heads are in intense pain, and they also sensed a dreadful power attacking them. Long Xian used mental power attack. Just now, it is very hard to guard against. After causing Murong Changwu and his avatars to feel dizzy, Long Xian unexpectedly used a very strong fist energy to attack between Murong Changwu's legs. Murong Changwu sensed danger approaching. His body suddenly spewed out a very strong energy wave. 3 different colored energy wave rushed out one after another. Long Xian's fist energy almost hit Murong Changwu's legs, but was dispersed by the 3 colored energy wave. This bastard! Murong Changwu cursed in low voice. Just now he was in great danger. He was almost injured in that place. It must be said that Long Xian's methods are very sinister. Very awesome. Handsome young man. I like you more and more. Long Xian said with loud laughter. Murong Changwu became even more furious. He controlled his 2 avatars to rush forward while his main body stayed at a distance. You should concede. Murong Changwu furiously shouted. His 2 doppelgangers charged over, their palms seeming as if they were holding onto lightning as they struck towards Long Xian. Being attacked by 2 people, Long Xian felt great pressure. Boom, boom, boom. When Murong Changwu's clones attack with their palms, the lightning in their hands will also shoot out, causing ear-piercing thunder to resound. Thunder-raising palm. This is a low-quality king-tier martial art. Granny Star is startled again. This little guy has actually mastered Pagoda Master Murong's martial art very well. Lightning flashed, and thunder rolled on the battle stage. Air waves undulated up and down and vibrated. Murong Changwu's 2 avatars are very dreadful. They are firmly suppressing Long Xian. Long Xian is also repeatedly releasing pink light rays through his eyes to attack Murong Changwu's avatars. Murong Changwu has experienced this before. He is not so easily affected now. However, Long Xian's mental power is also gradually changing. Originally, it was a faint pink light ray, but now it has turned into a deep pink color. His eyes are also flickering with many granular like red light rays. These granules are very strange. They can directly drill into a person's body. After the strange pink granules drilled into Murong Changwu's 2 avatars, their bodies became sluggish. Handsome young man, I want to torture you to death. Long Xian is somewhat angry and yelled. You have no chance. Murong Changwu controlled his 2 avatars to rush forward with all their might and firmly hugged Long Xian. Boom! Murong Changwu's main body controlled his 2 avatars to explode. The avatars are formed from energy. After they explode, they released a very strong might. The battle stage is also covered with intense light mist. Very soon, the light mist dissipated. Murong Changwu was pushed to the edge of the battle stage by the explosion's energy wave. Long Xian's body is covered with cuts and bruises. He is lying on the ground and roaring in anger. Although Murong Changwu's 2 avatars exploded, his main body is not affected at all. He only lost a great amount of energy. I can see Long Xian saw Murong Changwu arrive and loudly yelled, Third brother one. Murong Yue immediately shouted in joy. Yi Yaoshua nodded at Murong Changwu. Winning the first round of Martial King competition is a very good start. Next, is Murong Yue's turn. Long Xion's injuries are not light. His body is covered with many scars from the explosion. He is hatefully looking at Murong Changwu. Qin Yun said with low laugh. Murong Changwu is being watched by that devil. Granny Star also laughed and said, he is Pagoda Master Murong's grandson. Nothing bad will happen to him. After the barrier opened, Murong Changwu walked down and almost couldn't stand stably. It could be seen that his consumption is very great. Murong Tianjia promptly went up and helped him down. The second round of Martial King competition is Murong Yue's turn. Murong Yue is wearing light green tight, fitting clothes. After she went up, she tied her long hair into a ponytail. She is very confident. There is not a bit of fear in her eyes. It is as if she is certain that she will win. Yi Yaoshua yelled from below the stage. Xiao Wei, remember, preserving your life is the most important. Murong Yue said in light anger. Big sister Yi, don't look down on me. I will surely win. If Murong Yue wins, the Martial King competition will be considered over. Long Fanyu looked at the injured Long Xian and sent out a slap. The slap sent Long Xian tumbling several times in the air before landing on the ground. I told you to be a bit serious, but you are still sloppy. Wait until your injuries are healed. See how I will deal with you. Long Fanyu furiously said. Dragon Sect people saw this scene and don't dare to say anything. Long Xian is not weak. He is most proficient in mental power attack, but he has only used it a few times. If he did not underestimate his opponent and was not serious, Long Xian would not have been defeated so quickly. Maybe he would have won. Long Fanyu said in cold voice, Lin Qilong, you go up and properly take care of that little girl. She is City Master Murong's granddaughter. You must make City Master Murong feel pain. Understand? A pointy-faced man with very large eyes and long tongue suddenly jumped out from the group of Dragon Sect disciples. This pointy-faced man is wearing sloppy black clothes. He is lying on the ground like a toad. He jumped a few times and arrived on the battle stage. He is still lying on the ground like a toad, sticking out his long tongue and licking his face. He looks very disgusting. Qin Yun said with frown, Why does Dragon Sect have all kinds of weirdos? Granny Star said, Dragon Sect has always been like this. Murong Yue frowned. She feels that this Lin Qilong is very disgusting. And Lin Qilong's large eyes are filled with excitement and ruthlessness. He laughed. His laughter is very unpleasant to hear and said, Little sister, let me properly take care of you. Do you know what pain is? Murong Yue coldly groaned and said, Of course I know. Don't tell me you want to taste pain. Rest assured, I will make your wish come true. The barrier slowly opened. Then the referee below the stage sounded the gong. The battle has begun. Murong Yue's body is as light as a swallow. Drifting gracefully and beautifully, she lightly flew over. Don't look at how gentle she is. Her attack is very ferocious. Her lily-white palms burst out with purple-gold energy light. Crash! 2 purple-gold water whips suddenly appeared in Murong Yue's hands. She brandished the water whips and ferociously lashed at Lin Qilong. Lin Qilong laughed nastily. Many thorns suddenly overflowed from his body. He turned into a hedgehog in a short while. The black thorns on his body released black energy mist. Murong Yue's water whips hit the black thorns. Even though they contain very formidable power, the power was destroyed by the black thorns, causing the 2 water whips to scatter in a short while. I am here. Lin Qilong suddenly disappeared and suddenly appeared behind Murong Yue. His speed is inconceivably fast. Xiao Wei, be careful behind. Murong Tianjia yelled in alarm. Chapter 956. Jujue Wang power seeing this scene. Murong Changwu and Murong Tianjia immediately shouted. The sharp thorns in Lin Qilong's mouth are very fine. They are black. Some of them pierced Murong Yue's nape and entered her throat. Murong Yue felt an incomparable pain and itchiness in her throat. She coughed out a mouthful of blood and started coughing nonstop. She was in so much pain that she immediately fell to the ground and rolled around. Her hands kept grabbing at her throat, trying to get the thing out. "Bastard, what did you do?" "That was a concealed weapon," Murong Changwu loudly roared. Lin Shilong stretched out his very long tongue and said with evil grin, "Look, this is something that I grew on my own. It is a part of my body. It was not a concealed weapon at all. If this is against the rules, then Xie Wufeng releasing his origin sword is also against the rules." Everyone can see that Lin Shilong's tongue is rapidly growing some black thorns, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. Murong Tianjia roared, "Xiao Wei, quickly admit defeat." Lin Shilong laughed heartily and said, "She can't even shout. You all carefully watch how I love and care for her." "Ha ha ha," Yi Yaoxue said in cold voice. "We have lost this round. Please let her off." Long Fangyu proudly laughed and said, "You killed our Shi Xuanfei. We will also kill one of you to call it even. Moreover, we will kill them slowly. Just watch." "Long Fangyu, what conditions do you want in order to release Murong Yue?" Yi Yaoxue flew over, stood in front of Long Fangyu, and coldly asked, "Your 100 Pagoda sect concedes this time. So long as you agree, we will release Murong Yue." Long Fangyu proudly laughed and said, "Otherwise, you can just watch as that little girl is played to death." Murong Yue's throat is being choked by many thorns. It is extremely unbearable. Just by looking at it, the spectators are feeling very unbearable. Yi Yaoxue became silent. 100 Pagoda sect cannot lose, otherwise they will have to hand over a great part of their resources to Dragon sect. Long Fangyu yelled at Lin Shilong, "Attack!" Lin Shilong let out a burst of sinister laughter, then flew over and vigorously kicked Murong Yue. Murong Yue was sent flying to the edge of the battle stage and crashed into the barrier. Murong Changwu and Murong Tianjia promptly rushed over and shouted at Murong Yue through the transparent barrier. Then they also loudly cursed Lin Shilong, who is slowly walking over. "Little girl, you can't even make a sound, right?" Lin Shilong howled with laughter as he walked over and then sent a palm strike at Murong Yue's abdomen. Lin Shilong's palm overflowed with many black thorns. It looks like a hedgehog's palm and landed on Murong Yue's abdomen. Murong Yue's body twitched in pain. The most frightening thing is that the sharp thorns Lin Shilong shot out are still inside Murong Yue's abdomen. Murong Changwu and Murong Tianjia, these two older brothers, are also extremely furious. They are continuously attacking the barrier, but it is completely useless. Lin Shilong laughed nastily and continued to torture Murong Yue. Many people of 100 Pagoda sect turn their heads away. They don't have the heart to look. Yi Yaoxue, is there no other way? Xie Wufeng said. Concede to them. Murong Tianjia shouted. Yi Yaoxue tightly clenched her fists. She is also making a difficult decision. 100 Pagoda sect martial emperor said in cold voice, "We cannot concede. If we lose, our resources will be reduced by at least 70% for the next 10 years. This is related to the entire benefit of our 100 Pagoda sect. We cannot concede just because of one person." A half-immortal also said, "Yi Yaoxue, don't be soft-hearted. This is related to the development of our 100 Pagoda sect for the next 10 years. You're not allowed to concede. You're not allowed to concede. Let her die." Shi Xuanfei has also died on the other side. He is a very strong martial emperor. Indeed, so what if one person dies on our side? It is more important to protect our resources for the next 10 years. Murong Tianjia furiously roared. "The one who died is not your family member. Of course you don't care." A martial emperor said with sneer, "Your Murong family has city to Master Murong. Naturally, you don't lack resources. But we are different. We rely on the resources distributed every year to increase our cultivation. Indeed, she volunteered to fight. She will be responsible for her own death." Majority of 100 Pagoda sect people loudly shouted they don't want Yi Yaoxue to concede. This is related to their own benefits. As long as the one who died is not their family member, it has nothing to do with them. Haha. This is also good. Let's see how this little girl is killed. Long Fangyu's expression is filled with enjoyment as he looked at the battle stage, looking at Murong Yue being tortured. Murong Yue has been hit by many palm strikes. Many sharp thorns have pierced in her body. She is in extreme pain. She can hear the voices of those people from the battle stage. It caused her to feel despair and anger. She has been pampered since childhood. She has never experienced this kind of feeling. Murong Tianjia and Murong Changwu's eyes are red. They can only shout and scream. They can do nothing else. Qinyan walked over to Murong Tianjia and Murong Changwu's side and said, "You two move aside. I will see whether or not I can save her. Although this time we win, it has nothing to do with our star traveling pagoda. But who told me to be a good person? If you can save her, my Murong family will reward you greatly." Murong Tianjia said. Qinyan wants to hear these words. He is very clear that City Master Murong is overflowing with wealth. He said, "Then you must remember my kindness." This lion head actually wants to save Murong Yue. This caused many people to feel amazed. Everyone knows that this chief disciple of Star Traveling Pagoda has some ability, but he is merely a martial king. It must be known that many half-immortals can only helplessly wait outside the barrier. They are unable to break it. Long Fengyu yelled, "If your 100 Pagoda sect removes the barrier, it will be judged that your defense has failed. Don't act recklessly." Qinyan looked at Long Fengyu and said, "In the rules of the battle, it only says that the barrier cannot be removed, right?" Long Fengyu became very angry looking at the lion head. He said with sneer, "If you have the ability to pierce through the barrier and help that little girl escape, I will have nothing to say." Yi Yaoshua looked at Qinyan and asked in deep voice, "Can you truly save her?" "I don't know, I will give it a try." Qinyan placed his hand on the barrier and released mysterious penetration divine ability. The barrier can defend against divine ability power. Qinyan's mysterious penetration divine ability is unable to pierce through it. "It is somewhat thorny. I can only use that move," Qinyan said in his heart. Long Fengyu suddenly became somewhat worried and shouted, "Lin Qilong, quickly kill that little girl." Yi Yaoshua promptly yelled at Murong Yue, "Murong Yue, quickly dodge." Murong Yue is a peak martial king. After experiencing despair just now, her temperament has matured a lot. She knows that she can only save herself now, so she abruptly rolled on the ground. Boom! Lin Qilong suddenly dropped down from the sky. His feet are full of sharp thorns as he stepped on the ground. If Murong Yue did not roll away, her head would have been hit. At this time, Qinyan's body overflowed with 9-colored light. A frantic and ferocious energy wave suddenly rushed out from his body. An incomparably valiant king's aura rushed out. Many people near him were forced to retreat again and again. Yi Yaoshua, Murong Tianjia, Xia Wufeng, and other martial emperors and half-immortals are all looking at Qinyan in extreme shock. Even Granny Star is dumbstruck looking at this scene because this aura is truly too dreadful. Long Fengyu is also stunned in shock. He reacted and loudly yelled, "Lin Qilong, quickly kill that little girl." Qinyan's aura is indeed very strong, but it is only King's aura. It is not Martial Emperor's aura. His aura is very strong, but his power is still that of a martial king. Murong Yue continuously rolled on the battle stage. She also sensed a very strong aura penetrating through the barrier. "You are dead for sure." Lin Qilong jumped to the sky and dropped down from the sky. His body shook and countless sharp thorns dropped down. Oof. Qinyan let out a muffled groan. The 9-colored light aura ferociously rushed through the barrier and formed a protective barrier around Murong Yue's body. Lin Qilong's large number of sharp thorns were also blocked by the protective barrier. Seeing this scene, the entire 100 Refining Plaza burst into commotion. Many half-immortals and martial emperors are looking at this scene in shock. Someone can actually use power to penetrate the barrier of the battle stage. Qinyan is using the 9-extinction Dao power of 9-extinction Heart Sutra. It was 9-extinction Dao power before, and now it is 9-extinction King power. This is a kind of incomparably formidable aura. This aura can directly penetrate through the barrier. Xiao Wufeng and Murong Tianji's sword aura can also penetrate through. But aura is not energy. It is a kind of feeling. It is illusory and fleeting. It can only cause mental pressure to people. But the non-extinction king power released by Qin Yun is very strong, and on top of that, he has nethermoon mental power. It can produce this kind of power. Lin Shilong dropped down from the sky and stomped on the barrier with his foot and was repelled by the aura barrier. Long Fanyu's expression abruptly changed. He cursed in low voice. Lin Shilong, what are you doing? Quickly kill that little girl. Qin Yun said with sneer. She has no chance. Qin Yun finished speaking, and his body shook. He released 9 Extinction King power, turned into a human figure, and penetrated through the barrier. After that human figure entered, he sent a palm attack towards Murong Yue's throat and forced out the sharp thorns. Murong Yue coughed out a mouthful of blood and loudly yelled, I concede. Just as Lin Shilong rushed over, Long Fanyu loudly shouted, Lin Shilong, stay your hand. Now that the opponent has conceded and is still attacking, Dragon Sect can go home. Lin Shilong can only bitterly stop. Qin Yun let out a long mouthful of air and also retracted his 9 Extinction King power. His body slightly swayed. Everyone knows that he consumed a great deal of energy to do this. Yi Yaoshua and Murong Tianji's heart is jumping with fear and trepidation. Now they can finally relax. Many thanks, Junior Brother Qin, for saving us. Our Murong family will surely thank you generously. After this matter is over, I will surely pay a visit to your family with generous gifts. Murong Tianji cupped his fists towards Qin Yun and said. Murong Changwu and other Murong family elders also promptly thanked Qin Yun. Just bring the generous gifts. Qin Yun waved his hand. He is almost unable to stand stably. Granny Star hastily arrived behind Qin Yun, placed her palm on his back, and channeled energy into him to help him recover. Yi Yaoshua's beautiful eyes flickered with extraordinary splendor as she said, Qin Xiao Yun, can you fight in the 3rd round? I can't. Qin Yun said, my energy consumption is too great. I can't fight. If you can win the 3rd round of Martial King competition, you can raise your conditions. Yi Yaoshua said again, start distributing resources to Star Traveling Pagoda this year. Qin Yun said, I can't. Yi Yaoshua refused. Chapter 9:57. Water-killing Qin Yun is one of the chief disciples of 100 Pagoda Sect. He has to take action when 100 Pagoda Sect is fighting against outside enemies. But everyone knows that he just saved Murong Yue by a hair's breadth and consumed a great deal of energy. So he has a reason not to fight. This is also something Qin Yun calculated before. That's why he took the initiative to save Murong Yue. This way, not only he can obtain great reward from City Master Murong, he can also have a reason not to fight. If Yi Yaoshua wants him to fight, she will have to agree to his condition. Judging from the current situation, if 100 Pagoda Sect doesn't win the 3rd round of Martial King competition, they will lose a great amount of resources. Among the peak Martial Kings of 100 Pagoda Sect, not many have the confidence to defeat a monstrous genius like Lin Shilong. And now, no matter how you look at it, only Qin Yun has the confidence to win. But because he saved Murong Yue, he consumed a great amount of energy and can't go up to fight. Long Fanyu yelled, hurry up, you only have half an incense stick worth of time to prepare. He is also worried that Qin Yun will recover and go up to fight Lin Shilong. Senior Sister Yi, your first pagoda has occupied Star Traveling Pagoda's resources for more than 20,000 years. You should be satisfied. If you lose the 3rd round, all our previous efforts will be for naught. Moreover, your first pagoda will lose close to 70% of the resources. If they return the resources that originally belonged to Star Traveling Pagoda, first pagoda will only lose 30%. Moreover, 100 Pagoda Sect will not suffer any loss. Xiao Wufeng said again, Senior Sister Yi, this is related to the development of 100 Pagoda Sect for next 10 years. Just now you let Murong Yue sacrifice herself rather than concede. Isn't it for the sake of 100 Pagoda sect? Because this is related to First Pagoda's interest, no one dares to say anything. Earlier, a large group of people agreed to give up on Murong Yue, because the one who died is Murong Yue. It has nothing to do with them. Moreover, they don't want to offend First Pagoda. Murong Yue, who is being healed, saw that these people are not saying anything and felt very angry in her heart. Just now, for the benefit of 100 Pagoda sect, they wanted to see her being tortured to death. But now for the benefit of First Pagoda, only Xie Wufeng dares to speak. I want to discuss this with the elders of First Pagoda. I can't decide on my own. Yi Yaoshue glanced at Qin Yun and secretly gritted her teeth. How could she not see that Qin Yun is deliberately haggling over the price? Granny Star is very happy in her heart. She knows that she did not misjudge him. Making Qin Yun the Pagoda Master is the correct choice. Maybe Star, traveling Pagoda, will be able to take back those resources ahead of time. Yi Yaoshue took out a sound transmission magic tool and contacted the elders of First Pagoda. Murong Yue's injuries are a bit better. After all, she is City Master Murong's granddaughter. She has many high-quality healing pills. She looked at Qin Yun and said in low voice, "Lionhead, thank you for saving me." Qin Yun said, "Great kindness cannot be thanked with words. If you want to thank me with gifts." Murong Yue groaned in her heart and said, "Rest assured, I will surely ask my grandfather to take out some good things to thank you." Qin Yun said with a smile, "When the time comes, I will very sincerely accept your thanks." Everyone snickered. They didn't expect him to be so straightforward. Murong Tianjia asked, "Junior brother Qin, do you have confidence in dealing with that guy?" Qin Yun said, "Not at all. My consumption is too great." Granny Star is currently helping him recover his strength. Adding on his own recovery ability, half an incense stick worth of time is enough for him to recover. Yi Yaoshue is currently discussing with First Pagoda's elders through sound transmission. She is still unable to make a decision. Long Fangyu is rather calm and collected, because he feels that Qin Yun cannot defeat Lin Qialong. After a while, Yi Yaoshue said, "The elders have agreed to give your Star traveling pagoda resources from this year onwards. However, it will only be half of the original amount." Qin Yun promptly said, "Io, my consumption is too great. If I go up, I will die for sure." Murong Tianjia said, "Senior Sister Yi, your First Pagoda can't be selfish and cause disastrous losses to 100 Pagoda sect. If your First Pagoda promises to give sufficient resources to Star Traveling Pagoda, maybe Junior Brother Qin will have the motivation to go all out." Who can't see that Qin Yun is just pretending? He is surely hiding his strength. Many people are secretly worried. If First Pagoda doesn't agree and they lose the third round, they will have to hand over 70% of their resources to Dragon Sect for next 10 years. Their days will be very miserable. First Pagoda is the leader of 100 Pagoda sect. If they don't handle this matter properly, it will cause 100 Pagoda sect to split. Yi Yaoshue is also feeling great pressure now. She said, "Qin Xiaoyun, what if you can't win the third round? What will you do?" Qin Yun said, "If I can't win, I will die. What else can I do?" Everyone knows how formidable Lin Qialong is. If he can't defeat him, he will die. Qin Yun is risking his life to obtain resources for Star Traveling Pagoda. This truly makes people speechless. He is a qualified chief disciple. Long Fangyu yelled, "Time is almost up. If you can't decide on a good candidate, you will lose." Granny Star said with sneer, "Your First Pagoda obtains so many resources every year. This competition is supposed to be done by your First Pagoda. You have so many resources. It is enough to nurture formidable super geniuses. But now, your First Pagoda is not doing anything. You are just pointing fingers and gesticulating," Xie Wufeng said. "First Pagoda has many people. It is very bloated. There must be a lot of corruption inside, causing your talented people to wither away." Murong Tianjia also followed up and said, "If First Pagoda returns the resources that originally belonged to Star Traveling Pagoda, Many freeloaders will be eliminated. This will be very beneficial to your first pagoda. First pagoda, people don't dare to say anything. Otherwise, they will become enemies with other pagoda. Long Fong Yu roared. Are you guys done arguing? Quickly begin. 100 pagoda sect side has entered a deadlock. Qin Yin curled his lips and said, Our star traveling pagoda is a trash pagoda. Your top 50 pagoda can obtain many resources, but you don't have enough outstanding geniuses to fight. You can't blame our trash pagoda. Anyway, 100 pagoda sect will lose 70% of their resources. We don't care. After all, we have been doing this for many years. You can do whatever you want. Yi Yaoxue tightly held her sound transmission magic tool and continued sending sound transmission to her elders. Granny Star said, Xiao Yun, you have consumed a lot of energy. Let's go back and rest. Yi Yaoxue hastily yelled, Don't go. The elders have agreed. If you win the third round, First Pagoda will allow Star Traveling Pagoda to obtain new resources from this year onwards. 100 Pagoda sects people secretly let out a sigh of relief. First Pagoda is finally conceding. Qin Yin said, Do you have any proof? What if you're acting lazily? Who will I go to reason with? Yi Yaoxue, you have a record of acting shamelessly. Yi Yaoxue is at a loss for words. She doesn't know what to say. After all, this involves enormous benefits. A verbal promise is hard to believe. Moreover, she indeed went back on her words before. She clearly lost but refused to marry and ran away. Long Fong Yu loudly shouted, Half an incense stick of time is almost up. Quickly send people up. Yi Yaoxue said, My elders have a recording on my sound transmission magic tool. First Pagoda's Pagoda Master promised. After she finished speaking, she released the sound transmission magic tool. Everyone can hear that First Pagoda's Pagoda Master's voice is filled with unwillingness and unhappiness. He promised to distribute resources to Star Traveling Pagoda from this year onwards. After Qin Yin heard this, he felt relieved and walked up to the battle stage. Didn't you consume a lot of energy? Are you sure you have no problem? Yi Yaoxue asked. I'm just going all out. I will stake it all. Qin Yin's expression is indifferent. He has more or less recovered. Long Fong Yu said in cold voice, Lin Qilong, that guy is a late-stage martial king. If you can't kill him, you will be punished. Qin Yin said with smile, If Lin Qilong can't kill me, he will not be punished. If he can't kill me, he will be dead for sure. Who will punish a dead person? Lin Qilong howled with laughter and said, What a big tone. I have seen many people like you. Most of them died very miserably. Qin Yin said with smile, I have met many people like you. They all died in my hands. After the barrier opened, the battle began. Everyone in 100 Refining Plaza opened their eyes wide. They're earnestly looking at the battle stage. Yi Yaoxue and others are also very nervous in their hearts. Lin Qilong, who is laughing wildly, suddenly emitted many sharp thorns from his body. Then his body started spinning on the spot like a spinning top. A large number of densely packed sharp thorns covered the entire battle stage like a dense black mass. Seeing these sharp thorns, Murong Yue cannot help but feel some fear. She has a great shadow in her heart. Qin Yin released supergravity and formed a barrier to protect himself. Those sharp thorns are completely unable to penetrate through. Long Fong Yu loudly shouted, Lin Qilong, use your strongest power to kill that guy. Just as he finished speaking, Qin Yin's body suddenly overflowed with water mist and scattered in all directions. Murong Yue saw the water mist and yelled in shock. This is water divine ability power. This lion head can actually use water divine ability. She cultivates water attribute, so she can see it with one look. Hearing her voice, everyone is secretly startled, because none of them could see that this chief disciple of Star Traveling Pagoda has any divine ability before. Crash! The water mist suddenly spread out and a large amount of water appeared. A large amount of water suddenly appeared and filled the entire battle stage. The battle stage is surrounded by a barrier. The water cannot flow out. In a short while, the battle stage has turned into a large transparent vat filled with water. Lin Shilong is suddenly submerged in water. He doesn't know what to do and can only struggle in the water. This is water released through water divine ability. Qin Yun can use his formidable Nethermoon mental power to control this water as he wishes. The thorns on Lin Shilong's body cannot fly very far in the water. The most dreadful thing is that this water has very strong divine ability power. It can catch people. Qin Yun, who possesses water divine ability, is very agile in water. He arrived beside Lin Shilong in a short while and vigorously grabbed Lin Shilong's throat. With a kacha sound, Lin Shilong's throat was broken. Lin Shilong looks like he is drowning. He is unable to speak. He is unable to admit defeat. Chapter 958. Gold Sun Island. Qin Yun has obtained Water Divine Ability Martial Spirit for a long time, but he has never used it. When he first obtained it, he thought that it is a trash divine ability. He really did not expect that it would be very effective. Lin Shilong is completely unable to move inside the water. He is completely bound by the formidable divine ability power. Qin Yun's water has a very formidable divine ability power. Lin Shilong has never encountered it before. Even though he is a veteran of hundreds of battles, he doesn't know how to deal with it. He can only struggle inside the water. Xiao Yun, quickly go and take out his martial spirit. That guy's martial spirit must be a blackthorn martial spirit. Ling Yuner anxiously yelled. If you obtain this kind of martial spirit, you can use it to refine a concealed weapon that can continuously release very strong thorns. After Qin Yun heard this, he released a red light that enveloped him and Lin Shilong. Soon after, he quickly extracted Lin Shilong's martial spirit and also took out his Dao core. You can die now. Qin Yun released a very strong vibration power into Lin Shilong's body after obtaining the martial spirit and the Dao core. Splash, splash, splash. The water on the battle stage surged up and down. Lin Shilong's body was immediately torn apart by the formidable divine ability power and turned into a pool of blood. Qin Yun immediately took back the water he released and left behind Lin Shilong's broken body. Boom! Qin Yun smashed his palm towards Lin Shilong's broken body and released purple gold flame that burned Lin Shilong to ashes. This caused many people to be amazed. Qin Yun used water before, and now he is using fire. Moreover, he is using it very well. Many people cannot help but wonder whether or not he has two martial spirits. Lin Shilong's death caused Dragon Sect's people to furiously curse. Their 100 Pagoda sect won the battle between martial kings and martial emperors. They managed to hold on for the first 2 rounds. Next is the 3rd round of inscription competition. It is also the most difficult round. Lin Shilong's death caused Long Fangyu to be very angry, but he can do nothing. Dragon Sect is very confident in winning the 3rd round. 100 Pagoda Sect can only send 2 people to relay the inscription competition in the 3rd round. Moreover, they must win in a row. This is a very difficult challenge for 100 Pagoda Sect. Qin Yun walked down from the stage and said, I won. Your first pagoda must keep your word. Yi Yaoshue cursed in her heart, because no matter how she looks at it, it doesn't look like Qin Yun has consumed a lot of energy, but he is deliberately pretending to have consumed a lot of energy. Our first pagoda will definitely fulfill our promise. Yi Yaoshue said. The rest is up to you guys. Qin Yun said. Yi Yaoshue looked at a middle-aged man and said, Wang Wen, you go. You are a late-stage martial emperor. You are also a Dao inscription master. You are also a disciple that our first pagoda has been nurturing for many years. You must not fail to live up to our expectations. Wang Wen is a square-faced middle-aged man. He looks very honest. He nodded his head and said, I will do my best. The inscription competition was a great test of the level of an inscription master. Especially after several rounds of competition, the time required was not short. Murong Tianjia arrived beside Yi Yaoshue and asked in low voice, Is this Wang Wen your strongest inscription master? Yi Yaoshue's expression became somewhat grave as she said, The most outstanding inscription master among late-stage martial emperors is Wang Wen. I hope he can win consecutively. Otherwise, We won't have anyone to replace him. Muron Tianjia sighed. Young inscription masters are indeed very difficult to nurture. It is already very good that your first pagoda can take out Wang Wen. Our first pagoda has quite a few young Dao inscription masters, but Wang Wen is the strongest. If he loses, it will be very difficult for others to win consecutively. Yi Yaoxue is most worried about this point. The third round is too harsh. I hope we can win. The person sent by Long Fangyu is also a middle-aged man, but he looks a bit older than Wang Wen. This middle-aged man is very fat. He doesn't look like he often cultivates his body. His head is somewhat bald. His face is filled with confident smile as he walked on the stage with beaming smile. This guy has a great background, Granny Star said with slight frown. What's his background? Yi Yaoxue looked at Granny Star and hastily asked, I heard from a friend that Dragon Sect has the secret support of 9 Sun sects. Among them are inscription experts. Granny Star said, back in the day, our 100 Pagoda sect also had the support of 9 Sun sects, but later on we lost contact with them. Granny Star looked at the bald middle-aged man and said, look at that guy's hand. There's a small golden sun tattoo. That is the mark of Gold Sun Island's true inheritance disciple. One of the 9 Sun sects, Gold Sun Island, is in transcending Xianxi region. Long Fangyu respectfully said, Great Master Jin He, with you on the stage, our dragon sect will surely win. We will have to trouble you. That middle-aged man called Jin, he proudly smiled, nodded at Long Fangyu, and then took out a golden smelting furnace. Granny Star said in low voice, Look at that smelting furnace. There is also Gold Sun Island's mark on it. He must be from Gold Sun Island. Yi Yaoxue suddenly became somewhat worried and said, Granny Star, Gold Sun Island is one of the 9 Sun sects. Their inscription level must be very high. Won't that mean we have no chance of winning? Granny Star shook her head and said, I don't know. Let's watch first. Genie looked at Wang Wen and very disdainfully said, A guy like you calls himself an inscription master? If I were you, I would hide properly. I would not come out and lose face. Wang Wen is very unhappy, he said in cold voice. Why can't I call myself an inscription master? I have a badge from Divine Inscription Palace. Do you have one? He immediately burst into laughter. Divine Inscription Palace's badge? Divine Inscription Palace is nothing in my eyes. To think that you treat Divine Inscription Palace as a holy land. We don't recognize that kind of lousy badge from Divine Inscription Palace. Nonsense. I will let you see my strength in a moment. Wang Wen said. Long Fangyu yelled. First round is material production. Both sides, please take out 10,000 Jin of King Grey Dao Yuan iron. You want to refine King Grey Dao tier materials. Genie took out Dao Yuan iron. It is golden in color. It is only as big as a brick, but it weighs 10,000 Jin. Wang Wen also took out Dao Yuan iron. It is as big as a brick, but its luster is very dim. It is much worse than the one in Genie's hand. Yi Yaoxue said in low voice, Oh no, Wang Wen has only recently mastered refining King Grey Dao tier materials. The content of the competition is actually the content of top-notch King Grey Dao inscription masters. Many people in First Pagoda know about Wang Wen's level. Although he is very awesome, he is just an initial stage King Grey Dao tier inscription master. There are also some old inscription masters of 100 Pagoda sect here. They're all King Grey Dao tier, but their cultivation is either half immortal or peak martial emperor. They cannot compete on stage. He is a late-stage martial emperor, yet he can master all King Grey Dao tier inscription techniques. This can be considered very awesome. Wang Wen suddenly feels great pressure, but now he can only brace himself and do his best to compete. He took out furnace, forging hammer, forging table, and carving knife. All of them are very exquisite and simple. It is clear that they are of very high quality. King tool. That guy's tool refining equipment is of king tier. Moreover, it is a complete set. An old half-immortal said in low voice. This is too extravagant. For many inscription masters, king tier tool refining equipment is already top-notch. As long as they have one, they can refine a king tool. In Jin, he has a complete set. All the inscription masters who are knowledgeable in this field exclaimed in admiration. Just in terms of equipment, 100 Pagoda Sect's inscription masters are completely crushed by the opponent. Long Fengyu's mood suddenly became a lot better because they will surely win this round. Refining materials, refining King Gray Dao Yuan iron into Dao Yuan crystal steel. Time is 1 incense stick. Whoever's Dao Yuan crystal steel is the winner. Long Fengyu took out an incense stick and lit it up, then yelled, "Begin." An old Dao inscription master of 100 Pagoda Sect yelled in alarm. It is impossible to refine Dao Yuan iron into Dao Yuan crystal steel in 1 incense stick's time. Long Fengyu said with sneer, "You can't, doesn't mean others can't." Yi Yaoshue said, "We want to inspect your inscription master's materials to avoid cheating." "As you wish." Long Fengyu yelled, "Temporarily stop." Soon after, Yi Yaoshue brought along a few old inscription masters to inspect Jin He's equipment as well as the Dao Yuan iron. Long Fengyu's group also brought inscription masters to inspect Wang Wen's equipment. After both sides inspected each other, Long Fengyu felt that there is no problem and lit another incense stick. The competition finally began. 100 Pagoda Sect's inscription masters are all sighing in despair because they feel that 100 Pagoda Sect will lose this round. Dang, dang, dang. On the battle stage, 2 inscription masters are frantically hammering the Dao Yuan iron, creating loud banging sound. Jin He's expression is calm. The golden hammer in his hand overflowed with 3-colored flame and smashed on the Dao Yuan iron. Both of them are the same. They first hammered the Dao Yuan iron for a while, and then put it into the furnace to be burned. After burning it for a while, they began hammering. Regardless of which part, Jin He is faster than Wang Wen by a lot. Very soon, 1 incense stick finished burning. Jin He refined a small piece of golden crystal. It is Dao Yuan crystal steel. And Wang Wen is still hammering a piece of golden iron. It is very messy. Although the quality has increased, it is still far from reaching the level of Dao Yuan crystal steel. "Ha! You lost." Long Fengyu laughed loudly. Jin He won very easily. He faintly smiled. "Next, you should send a more formidable person. As long as the Dao Yuan crystal steel he hammered is heavier than mine within 1 incense stick's time, it will be your victory." Wang Wen's expression is very unsightly because he is basically unable to complete the competition. Jin He placed his Dao Yuan crystal steel on the forging table, then took out a chair and sat down. Then he said with beaming smile, "My Dao Yuan crystal steel weighs 15,000 Jin. You should think carefully about who to send. You only have 1 last chance." Yi Yaoshue looked at the Dao inscription masters behind her and saw that they are all shaking their heads. Chapter 959. Venerable Masters appear. Xiao Wufeng looked at Qin Yun and secretly sent sound transmission to him. "Yin, old boy, do you want to go up and give it a try? Do you think you can win against that guy?" Qin Yun replied, "I don't know. I have never refined Dao Yuan crystal steel." Yi Yaoshue is very worried. She looked at those inscription masters whose faces are filled with powerless expression. She wants to say something, but she is unable to say anything. Because she knows that 100 Pagoda Sect's inscription masters are also very outstanding. It is just that the inscription masters sent by the other side are too strong. Long Fengyu said with sneer, 100 Pagoda Sect, 100 Pagoda Sect. You have obtained so many resources for so many years, yet you still failed to nurture a genius Dao inscription master. Did you waste all your resources on dogs? Dragon Sect people also began sneering at Long Fengyu. Yi Yaoshue yelled, "Long Fengyu, don't be too proud." 100 Pagoda Sect's people helplessly sighed. Their inscription masters are already very strong, but they cannot compare to Dragon Sect. Dragon Sect's inscription masters came from 9 Sun Sect's Golden Sun Island. It is very normal for 100 Pagoda Sect's inscription masters to be inferior to them. Lionhead, your star-traveling pagoda's barrier suddenly recovered. What is going on? Yi Yaoshue suddenly asked. Star-traveling pagoda grasped very strong inscription techniques in the past. Why are you asking this? Granny Star asked. Does your star-traveling pagoda have an inscription master? Yi Yaoshua asked in low voice. I do, but I don't have divine inscription palace badge. Moreover, I have never refined Dao Yuan crystal steel. The materials Qin Yun needed were all purchased directly from the divine inscription palace. He could only refine some beast bones and beast skins himself. You are an inscription master? Yi Yaoshua is somewhat amazed. She is even more suspicious that this lion head is the immoral venerable master who stole her undergarment. Barely. You want me to go up? Qin Yun said. Yi Yaoshua now very much hopes that this lion head is the immoral venerable master because the title of venerable master is not just for show. She secretly sent sound transmission to Qin Yun and said, Immoral venerable master, I don't know how you managed to sneak in 100 Pagoda sect and even became the chief disciple of Star Traveling Pagoda. But now I need your help. Tell me, what condition do you want me to go up? Qin Yun did not reply. He knows that she has been suspecting him for a long time. If he replies, he will be recognized as the venerable master. He is also considering whether or not he should reveal his identity to Yi Yaoshua. State your conditions. We can discuss it. Yi Yaoshua sent sound transmission to Qin Yun. You promised to marry me. Qin Yun finally replied after thinking for a while. I can't. Yi Yaoshua said again. At that time I thought I was invincible. That's why I boasted. After this matter, we can talk again, and I can give you some compensation. Qin Yun smiled and said with a voice transmission, What compensation can you give me? Do you think I'll be interested in your compensation? Yi Yaoshua cursed the lion head in her heart. Just as she guessed, this is the immoral great master. She has no choice but to admire Qin Yun's methods. He actually managed to become the chief disciple of Star Traveling Pagoda. Moreover, his strength is not weak at all. Even if he doesn't use equipment, he can still oppress people to death. Why are you so insistent on making me your woman? I heard that you have a wife. You are not lacking women. Yi Yaoshua said again. You promised me. Qin Yun said. If you win, there will be benefits. At least your Star Traveling Pagoda's resources will not be reduced. Yi Yaoshua said. Yi Yaoshua, how about this? After I win, you let me see your martial spirit. I will also give you your underwear. Qin Yun thought for a bit and replied. This won't do. Yi Yaoshua is secretly startled. She did not expect that her mysterious red rune martial spirit would be targeted by Qin Yun. Then forget it. I won't go up. Moreover, I have never refined Dao Yuan crystal steel. Qin Yun said. Did you do anything to my underwear? Yi Yaoshua asked. What would I do to your underwear? Qin Yun feels that this is somewhat baffling. You pervert. Maybe you will return it to me first. Yi Yaoshua said. Qin Yun glanced at her and said with sound transmission, I won't return it. Unless you let me see your martial spirit. Don't even think about it. Yi Yaoshua gritted her teeth and asked with sound transmission, Why do you want to see my martial spirit? I am curious. Qin Yun said. All right, if you win this round, I will let you see to your heart's content. Yi Yaoshua said. Take off all your clothes and let me see. Qin Yun said with smile. Don't court death. Yi Yaoshua very much wants to slap him. Qin Yun is very interested in Yi Yaoshua's inscription martial spirit because it is highly possible that it is a set of heavenly rune. All right, I will go up now. If you go back on your words, don't even think about getting your underwear back. Qin Yun said with sound transmission. You go up, take off the lion head. Why are you hiding it? Yi Yaoshua lightly groaned and said. Qin Yun did not take off the lion head. He jumped on the stage. Murong Tianjia is somewhat amazed seeing Qin Yun go up and said, Junior brother Qin, why are you going up? Yi Yaoshua said, I let him go up. 100 Pagoda Sect's people are all amazed seeing the lion head. The lion head is very good at fighting. It is obvious to all, but they did not expect it to also know inscription technique. Long Fangyu became very angry looking at the lion head and yelled, Yi Yaoshua, are you sure you want to send this guy to compete with us? He is only late-stage martial king. How can his inscription technique be so brilliant? It seems like you have given up on yourselves. Yi Yaoshua is now certain that the lion head is the immoral, venerable master that she hates so much. Although he is only late-stage martial king, for him to be called venerable master by city master Morong and old Fei Qian, he must be very skilled. Xiao Wufeng faintly smiled and said, "We will win." Yi Yaoshua lightly groaned and said, "Xiao Wufeng, you know him?" Xiao Wufeng only smiled and did not speak. Apart from Hong Mengshu, he is the only one here who knows Qin Yin the most. Moreover, he has known Qin Yin for a long time and even became sworn brothers. At this time, Yi Yaoshua suddenly recalled that Xiao Wufeng said that he became martial emperor in a short period of time with the help of a friend. When she went to the Murong Manor, Murong Yue also said that Kong Feiqing became martial emperor with the help of a venerable master. She did not believe it at all at that time. No one at the scene believed it. Thinking up to this point, Yi Yaoshua is extremely shocked in her heart because it is highly possible that it is true. Qin Yin walked onto the battling platform and took out his own set of refining equipment. The forging platform, furnace, and forging hammer are all relatively ordinary items. He has a very good furnace and forging hammer, heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron, and 9-sun divine hammer. He cannot take them out. Jin He is from Golden Sun Island. Maybe he can recognize 9-sun divine hammer. After all, it is a sun spirit. Late stage martial king, you dare to come up? Your equipment is even worse than that guy from before. Jin He laughed loudly and said, "It seems like you have given up on yourselves." After Qin Yin finished arranging his equipment, he ran back to Yi Yaoshua's side. This caused Dragon Sect people to roar in laughter, thinking that he is scared. "Yi Yaoshua, quickly give me a brick." "It is that Dao Yuan iron." Qin Yin extended his hand and said. Yi Yaoshua signaled an old inscription master with her eyes and said, "Quickly give it to him." Qin Yin took the brick and looked at it, then nodded in satisfaction. "You don't even have this kind of thing?" Yi Yaoshua doubtfully asked. "I rarely use this kind of thing. I mostly use beast bones. Only those unrated guys use this kind of thing," Qin Yin said with a smile. These words caused many inscription masters to feel very dissatisfied. Genie's expression changed. He very unhappily yelled, "Brat, what did you just say?" "Only unrated inscription masters use Dao Yuan iron to refine tools?" Qin Yin nodded and said, "Indeed, beast bones are much better than Dao Yuan iron. Could it be that they are not?" Jin He coldly groaned and said, "Who doesn't know that formidable beast bones are better than Dao Yuan iron? But when carving runes, beast bones are very difficult to fuse with runes. Could it be that you don't know?" When refining tools, adding Dao Yuan iron will make it easier to carve runes, Qin Yin said with a smile. "That's why I said, only unrated inscription masters use Dao Yuan iron, because their level of carving runes is limited. They need Dao Yuan iron to carve runes. And I have never used these things." "Oof. You ignorant junior, it is easy to talk. You have never carved runes on pure beast bones, right? Not only the finesse is hard to guarantee, even the power will drop by a lot. It will be very difficult to carve runes smoothly," Jin He said in a very unconvinced manner. "Only unrated inscription masters would say that." Qin Yin laughed. "You are infuriating me to death. I must properly teach a lesson to you, a guy who doesn't understand but pretends to understand," Jin He furiously said. Qin Yin looked at Long Fangyu and said, "Light the incense. I want to start forging materials." Long Fangyu is stunned. He did not expect this lion head to be so good. Yi Yaoshua is very relieved in her heart. Although she feels that Qin Yin is somewhat rogue, his level is also not bad. Long Fangyu lit an incense stick. Qin Yin immediately threw the Dao Yuan iron into the furnace, covered the lid, and poured an extremely strong nether sun flame. Other people would first hammer and memorize the flame. Only then can the Dao Yuan iron absorb the energy within the flame. But Qin Yin is different. He directly threw it in. Dragon Sect inscription masters burst into laughter, saying that Qin Yin doesn't understand a bit. 100 Pagoda Sect inscription masters also want to say something, but they don't dare because it was Yi Yaoshua who told Qin Yin to do it. The Nether Sun flame released by Qin Yin is completely different. It can allow the Dao Yuan iron to absorb energy, just like how Nether Sun can absorb energy. This way, while hammering the Dao Yuan iron, he can pour in Xian Dao power containing 9 Sun energy into the Dao Yuan iron and increase its quality and weight. Qin Yun's Xian Dao power is released through his immortal devil body. The energy contained within is even more valiant. It can increase the quality of the material even more. After Qin Yun burned the Dao Yuan iron for a while, he took it out and began forging. While forging, he directly used the 6th-style forging dragon. Those Dragon Sect inscription masters who were ridiculing Qin Yun earlier can no longer laugh. Because forging Dragon's 6th-style hammer technique is very tyrannical. Imposing manner is very powerful. It is as if he is forging a berserk and angry dragon. This kind of heaven-shaking and earth-shaking momentum caused Dragon Sect disciples to feel horrified in their hearts. 100 Pagoda Sect people are also dumbstruck looking at this scene. This is the first time many inscription masters see Qin Yun forging materials like this. It is as if the heaven is falling and the earth is splitting. Those who doubted Qin Yun's level before now don't dare to say anything. Genie is also looking at Qin Yun with grave expression. He can clearly see that the quality of the Dao Yuan iron is rapidly increasing. Chapter 960. Chapter 960. Speed comparison under Qin Yun's hammering. The piece of Dao Yuan iron gradually changed. Crystal pieces can be seen appearing inside. This caused He's expression to be filled with disbelief. Because the speed at which Qin Yun is forging the Dao Yuan iron is as fast as his. He is indeed a very high-level inscription master. His level is higher than many old inscription masters. After all, he came from transcending Xianxi region's Golden Sun Island, a very ancient sect. During the forging process, it could be said that Qin Yun did it in one go. He did not stop at all. While hammering, he released a very strong Nether Sun spirit and poured it into the Dao Yuan iron to soften it, making it easier to hammer. Then he poured in a great amount of Xian Dao power to increase the quality of the Dao Yuan iron. After this process is repeated, the impurities inside the Dao Yuan iron are quickly separated and filled with pure energy inside. After going through thousands of tempering, the Dao Yuan iron would be able to quickly absorb pure energy to increase its quality. It would become Dao Yuan crystal steel, which would be even tougher and heavier. Generally speaking, when the quality of a material increases, its weight also increases, especially this kind of or material. Sometimes the heavier the better. So Qin Yun doesn't like to use heavy materials to refine tools. Beast bones are a lot lighter. Even if they are refined and their quality is greatly improved, their weight will not increase too much. He looked at Qin Yun with grave expression. Qin Yun continued to use forging Dragon's 6th-style hammer technique. With his current cultivation, he can use it again and again without getting tired. Very soon, the incense stick finished burning. And Qin Yun also successfully forged a piece of Dao Yuan crystal steel. Seeing Qin Yun's success, those despairing 100 Pagoda Sect disciples are now filled with hope. Wang Wen looked at the battle stage in amazement and said, "Senior Sister Yi, what is going on with that Qin Xiaoyun? How do you know that he has such high inscription level?" "I just know," Yi Yaoshu roaned. "Even though this guy is loathsome, I have no choice but to admit that he is indeed very skilled." Murong Tianjia and others saw Yi Yaoshua's attitude towards Qin Yun and cannot help but feel even more amazed, because they believe that Qin Yun and Yi Yaoshua already know each other. It must be known that there are very few people in 100 Pagoda Sect who dare to offend her. Qin Yun is one of them. Not only did he offend Yi Yaoshua, he was completely fine. Moreover, Yi Yaoshua even asked him for help. This was his ability. Yi Yaoshua brought along a few old inscription masters and walked up to the battle stage to check the result. He is no longer able to maintain his previous arrogance. He is a late-stage martial emperor. If he is defeated by a late-stage martial king, it will be a huge blow to him. After weighing, Qin Yun's Dao Yuan crystal steel weighed more than 16,000 jin. As for Jin He's Dao Yuan crystal steel, it weighed only 15,000 jin. Jin He had lost this round. Long Fengyu is also at the side. His face is filled with disbelief as he said, "Grandmaster Jin, what is going on? Could that kid have used some tricks?" Jin He frowned and shook his head. "I don't know, but I saw him forge Dao Yuan crystal steel with my own eyes, and the quality is better than mine." Not only Long Fengyu and the others are amazed. Even the old inscription masters of 100 Pagoda sect are looking at Qin Yun in amazement. Their expression is filled with respect. Yaoshua knows that this immoral venerable master is very reliable in this aspect. This made her feel a lot more relaxed. At least they have great chance of winning in the third round. Consider yourself awesome. Next round, talisman crafting. Long Fengyu glared at Qin Yun's lion head and groaned. "Rest assured, I will surely win this round." Jin He very confidently said, "Let's compete in Dao talisman crafting. Low-quality fire attribute, Dao talisman will be enough. Within an incense stick of time, whoever can craft Dao talisman faster will win." Let the inscription masters of both sides appraise the Dao talisman. As long as the talisman's power reaches low-quality fire attribute, it will be enough. Yi Yaoshua asked Qin Yun in low voice, "Will you have any problem with this round?" Qin Yun said, "No problem. Just provide me with King Gray Dao talisman paper. I want 100 of them." An old man from 100 Pagoda sect said with frown, "Low-quality Dao talisman. Why do you need King Gray Dao talisman paper? Why do you need 100 of them? Can you craft 100 in an incense stick of time?" Qin Yun urged, "King Gray Dao talisman paper is more stable and more powerful. Less nonsense, quickly take them out." Yi Yaoshua said to those old inscription masters, "Quickly take out the King Gray Dao talisman paper." Jin He groaned, "Little demon, you look so poor, but I did not expect you to actually have some skill." The talisman papers that Jin He took out are also King Gray Dao talismans. There is also a large stack of them. King Gray Dao talisman paper is very expensive. Those old inscription masters of 100 Pagoda sect handed them over to Qin Yun with heartache. Qin Yun doesn't need so many King Gray Dao talisman paper. He just wants to take advantage of this opportunity. Yaoshua and those old inscription masters are not leaving the stage. They're just watching from the side. Long Fengyu is also the same. He is standing behind Jin He. "It seems like you want to do the same as me. Quickly carve runes, and then use King Gray Dao talisman paper to quickly craft Dao talisman. This way, you can guarantee the might of the talisman." Jin He faintly smiled. "However, if you want to craft low-quality Dao talisman quickly, you need to carve at least 5 sets of low-quality fire Dao runes to guarantee the might of the talisman. And I don't need it. I only need to carve 3 sets. Because I am late-stage martial emperor, my blood spirit power contains enough formidable energy." Qin Yun chuckled and said, "Don't be too proud. Let's begin." Inscription masters of both sides went over to check the talisman paper to avoid cheating. After checking, Long Fengyu took out an incense stick, lit it, and announced the start of the competition. 1 incense stick of time to craft Dao talisman. This caused many people to be amazed. Because most of them don't know anything about inscription, they feel that since Dao talismans are so powerful and expensive, crafting them would require a lot of time, at least 1 to 4 hours, maybe even several hours. According to rumor, some talismans require 1 to 2 years to craft. And now, Qin Yun and Jin He will compete in crafting Dao talismans within 1 incense stick of time. This makes people feel that low-quality Dao talismans are not that hard to craft. As soon as the competition began, Qin Yun firmly held the mental resonance Shin pen and began carving Starfire rune and low-quality fire Dao rune on a talisman. He only needs to carve these 2 sets of runes. Since he has many kinds of inscription spirits, his speed is very fast, and he finished a low-quality fire Dao talisman very quickly. And Jin He is not even halfway done. Jin He's eyes became round and wide, seeing Qin Yun finish the talisman. Long Fengyu said in low voice, "Great Master Jin, he is definitely messing around. There are no runes on his talisman, It is just a few simple strokes. Its might is not guaranteed. While Qin Yun is carving runes, the mental resonance Xin pen released light rays that enveloped his hand and talisman paper, so nobody knows what kind of runes he is carving. Seeing Qin Yun's speed, 100 Pagoda Sect inscription masters are somewhat worried. Wang Wen said in low voice, "Senior Sister Yi, he seems to be very casual. Isn't this a mistake? At that time, he might even waste our talisman papers. They are very expensive. One talisman paper costs more than 10 million purple crystal coins." An old man also said, "Junior Sister Yi, is he really capable or not? He has already finished 3 talismans. Jean he has not even finished one. How can he be faster than Jean he?" 100 Pagoda Sect's inscription masters very anxiously said in low voice. Yi Yaoshua also doesn't know what is going on with Qin Yun. She said in low voice, "All of you, don't talk. Wait for the result." Long Fangyu saw Qin Yun finish so quickly and said with sneer, "Lionhead, are you deliberately swindling 100 Pagoda Sect? You are from Star Traveling Pagoda. You must have a grudge against First Pagoda, so you won't even use your full strength in this competition. Look at you. You are just like a child messing around. This is not talisman crafting. It is just scribbling talismans." There are many old inscription masters on Dragon Sect side. They also saw the runes of Qin Yun's Dao talismans. They don't recognize any of them. Moreover, they are very casual. Qin Yun's Dao talismans have runes fused with ancient star runes and low-grade fire Dao runes. Moreover, there are many dark lines in the star runes. Most of them are hidden. And the bright lines are very messy. They are combined with the bright lines of fire Dao runes, making it impossible to understand. An incense stick worth of time passed by. Qin Yun has already crafted 15 talismans. Jean he has only crafted 5, but he is still very confident. "Jean," he said with smile, "you crafted 15 talismans in an incense stick worth of time. Do you think you are an immortal inscription master? Your shoddy Dao talismans can't even pass the power test. Even 10 of them can't compare to one of my talismans." Yi Yaoshue is now somewhat panicking. The inscription masters beside her also have unsightly expression. They are very clear that no one can craft 15 Dao talismans in an incense stick worth of time. Qin Yun said with smile, "Then how do we test?" Long Fangyu said with smile, "Very simple. Use this thing to test." He took out something that looks like a wash basin. Moreover, it has a lid. It is completely black, and then said, "Place your talisman inside and detonate it. If you can hear a sound and the lid starts to emit fire, it will prove that your talisman is a qualified low-grade flame Dao talisman." Qin Yun looked at Yi Yaoshue and the others. They all nodded. This is a common test method. Genie said with smile, "I will test first." Genie placed the talisman he crafted into the wash basin. Then Long Fangyu covered the lid and detonated the talisman. Bang! It is a very oppressive sound. Moreover, the lid is emitting a weak flame. First talisman qualified. Long Fangyu proudly said with smile. Those people who don't understand inscription in the 100 Refining Plaza are very amazed. That talisman should be worth at least 20 to 30 million purple crystal coins, right? They actually tested it just like that. Moreover, they still have to test 4 more talismans. This is too extravagant, wasting more than 100 million purple crystal coins in one go. Are these inscription masters crazy? Someone yelled in alarm. "Just give it to me. When I meet a ferocious beast, I can just throw it at it. It will save me a lot of trouble." As expected of great Master Jean, he crafted 5 qualified low-grade Dao talismans in just an hour. Inscription masters are truly tycoons. The process of crafting is clearly so easy. Why is it so expensive? Idiot, only very high-level venerable masters can be this fast. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.